record it.
Oh, that screen looks like Dyson Sphere program.
Yeah, it does. I know what you've been playing. All right, here we go in 3, 2, 1.
That is but a taste of our fury. Do you yield?
Greetings and welcome to Core. This is Core for October 6th, 2022. We're talking video games, and you're here with us to talk about them. My name is Scott Johnson with Bo Schwartz and John Jagger. And are we celebrating Mario Day? What are we doing? Are we excited for Mario Day?
Yeah, I think that movie looks all right. That's what we're talking about, right? That's an odd transition, but not. You know what? I think the movie looks.
It looks fine. You know what? Let's just jump right in.
We'll talk. No.
Oh, what?
No, we'll talk about the movie in a second.
Oh,
I know what day it is today. Well, maybe it's not today, but congratulations, Scott, on becoming deep.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah, deep grandpa. Two
grandpa.
Yeah,
that's number 2. You're full. You're all in.
Yep.
No half stepping. No little toe in the water. You're now up to your ankle or up to your shoulders, and grandchildren,
poopy children.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yep.
And
I like that one grandkid doesn't count yet.
It doesn't count at all. He's lucky to have another one join him.
One grandkid's easy. One grandkid's like it's a ride. It's fun.
It is. So
I think it's still fun, but you're just full on. You're gonna get grandpas everywhere. You're gonna be out of money because you're gonna be sneaking those kids $20 bills and little video games and
nothing makes you feel older, by the way, than people recognizing that you've got 2, not 1, 2 grandchildren. Now, one of them was born in my 40s. I'm now 53, and this one comes, and I still feel like a young dude for to be called a grandpa, because I guess I am technically, but. It's pretty great. She's cute and she's adorable. Her name is Phoebe. Nothing to do with Friends. I always like to point that out. There's no Friends connection. They just like the name Phoebe. So knock it off with your Friends jokes. Not you, the rest of the world. And she's awesome. Perfectly healthy, wonderful. No, doesn't even have any weird rashes or marks on her. Feels like she got packaged and sent to us by some, like Apple or somebody. Like just this perfect child.
Oh wow.
And I'm not used to that.
The child.
Every other kid that I had, and then the kids that my daughter had up till this point, all had they all had weird stuff going on.
It's like bruised fruit you get at the grocery store after you take a bite in it. That's a terrible way to speak about people, but humans are like that. They get these birthmarks and weird things. And
because didn't Van have what my son had, which was they call it the stork bite, right?
Yep. Still shows up when he cries. He gets a big stork bite, bright red down his nose.
Yeah, my son gets it when he poops. That's how we know he's pooping. It's like Avatar: The Last Airbender when he goes into the Avatar state, except it's a big red arrow on his head, and it means there's poop.
There's poop coming. Yep. I love that. That little indicator light.
I hope that goes away for him. He's not going to be able to play poker or anything like that.
Every time he's nervous, just a big red arrow.
My same daughter had that same thing, and hers was on her lip and stayed there till she was about 10. And now it's no longer visible. So we assume his will go away. But this one came just like factory fresh, like just nothing out of place. Got hair already. Eyes are centered. Not crossed. There's no yellowing. There's none of that business going on. She looks great. So anyway,
I like to imagine Scott had a checklist. He comes in and goes, "All right, let's see what's going on with this one here. Any stork bite? How's the eyes looking?" Just doing checks.
Yeah, pick him upside down. How's the butt looking?
It's like when you drop a car off at the shop and they need to check for dents before you give them the car. It's just like, all right, what's going on with this baby?
John, I want maximum trade-in value. Is what I'm aiming for.
I didn't put anything on the sheet.
No. Chat says, or someone asked, will I be irritated if people call her Phoebes? No, I call her Phoebes. You can call her whatever she wants to be called. It's totally fine. She's Phoebes to me, and I'm not spelling it with a PH. Phoebes is Feebs. That's the rule. Yo. Anyway, thanks for that. It's all very exciting. Now this. It won't be that many years until she's sitting on my lap playing whatever video game I'm playing. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of video games and other things she might enjoy, the Super Mario movie trailer dropped today during a Nintendo Direct, which is a weird way to launch a trailer, but Nintendo likes to do whatever they do.
Yeah, because that's all it was.
Yeah.
It was the Nintendo Direct and then a little subtitle, "We'll show no games."
Yeah.
just showing a movie trailer.
The way it usually works is studios just drop trailers, and then you get a trailer, and then it spreads all over the internet, and people meme about it for 2 days, and then we forget about it till trailer 2, and then the movie comes out. But in this case, Nintendo's like, no, What if we treat this like it's a very special event, and have a whole thing around it? So that's what they did. And the trailer, honestly, isn't that long, so it feels like a lot of build up for very short payoff. To have all of that, production around just showing us maybe minute-long trailer. I think it's less than that. But like the chat says, and I agree, pretty on brand for Nintendo. That's what they do. I'm surprised they let anybody do it in the first place. I'll bet their hands were all over this, man. I'll bet those Illumination animators couldn't get Nintendo people out of the damn office. That's what I bet.
They still managed to find their cute minion adjacent thing that they're going to try to probably market the hell out of in the form of penguins this time.
Yeah.
But at least they talk. So, and they have better voices. So, it's like way better than a minion.
That's true. The minion, actually, you heard the penguin here.
That is but a taste of our fury.
That's that guy who does a lot of Warcraft stuff. If that sounded familiar, that's why.
Yeah, it had that tone to it. That doesn't shock me.
His name, let me find it real quick. Mario movie. He is.
You mean that wasn't an A-list celebrity doing that one?
No, he's one of the smaller voices. Everybody else is A-list, but he's
actually a good voice actor.
Yeah,
because it's
funny.
Oh, here it is.
Voice acting in the trailer. Weird.
It's Kevin Michael Richardson, and you know his work from tons of stuff. Mortal Kombat. He's Goro. From 95, as far back as that goes. Crazy. More recently, though, in the era of things we would be playing, let's see here. He played... Oh, he's the new Dr. Hibbert on The Simpsons. He took over from white guy. What's his name? Harry Shearer, I think.
People to pick from.
I think it was Harry Shearer, right? Anyway. Let's see. Here we go. He did... Oh, he's working so much, it's hard to narrow it down.
Yeah, he's in everything.
Holy
shit. He
shit.
does a ton of work. He's great.
He's busy. But the Warcraft stuff in particular, hold on. Here we go. He was Grommash Hellscream in World of Warcraft Warlords of Draenor. So he's the one that went, and what do we get in return? Or whatever he says before he goes, everything. That whole thing. Gul'dan. That's him.
So good.
Yeah. He's also in... previous stuff, tons of Transformers. Bo, plays Bulkhead most of the time.
I don't know who Bulkhead is.
Also a Viacon trooper and a newscaster in that show, but whoever that is,
wow,
Voltron.
There you go.
Yeah, I have no memory of those characters.
I kind of don't either, I guess, if I'm honest. But it's such a big list. I actually can't. It's hard for me to find what I'm looking for here. So anyway, congratulations to him. He deserves.
He's great.
He deserves a thing.
We could probably all think of like 100 voice actors that probably should be voicing this, but they got to market the movie, so they put big names in it.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess. Hold on, but let me ask this because I know Scott's point on this because I heard before the show and he mentioned it a little in the pre-show.
Yeah.
Do they need to market the movie based on star power? You're dealing with Mario, most like he's probably more recognizable than. Jesus, like Mickey Mouse, like
you're right. But this applies to all movies. Like, there's more than 50 actors in the world, but Hollywood, can someone else have a role, please? Pedro Pascal, like, and Oscar Isaac. Do you have to be in all movies all the time? Like, it's fine, but like, there's like tons of talented people out there. They always do this, and I think it's just more of that same Hollywood inbreeding on this film. Mario's big brand. We got to get the big names in and. Blah,
yeah,
blah,
which is what I've always said, and I'll repeat it here because I think it's true. The reason you get Chris Pratt to be controversially so Mario is because it's Chris Pratt, and he is currently in the rarefied little space of like 5 or 6 actors you would choose from if you want the most star power. Not saying he's the best choice. Clearly not. I won't even say clearly not because we don't know yet. We got a couple of lines from the thing, and that's it.
Yeah, I think clearly not.
I think clearly not.
You don't need more lines than that. It's not like, man, those first couple lines were real rough, but he really pulled it out. And also, like, Sonic the Hedgehog is doing real well.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Ben Schwartz, who is a great actor.
Sure.
I love Ben Schwartz.
Sure.
But he is most notable for playing characters that are blue in animated productions.
Sure.
That's what he does, whether it's Leonardo, Dewey Duck, or Sonic the Hedgehog. If you need a blue animated character, he's your man.
Wow.
And
Look, most
Like-
mainstream people only know him as Jean Ralphio from Parks and Rec, right?
Yeah, that's
He's
it.
actually like funny in House of Lies,
Bo's
but that
Eating is
wasn't a
fine.
mainstream show.
Yeah.
But apart from that, he's not a big role guy.
And it did not prevent that movie from doing well. Now, I agree. Like, here's the problem. Chris Pratt's hiring screams a bunch of people in a boardroom sitting around going, now who does well for, I don't know why they're Southern. Now who does well for
I say.
animated pictures these days?
Well, now you see there, John.
And
we got
someone
this
was like,
young man
well-
named Chris Pratt.
Yeah, what was he? What picture was he in?
Yeah.
Well, he's in that picture with them dinosaurs there.
And a Lego
Did real
movie.
well with the families.
Yeah.
I made a fake little bit of video today with Chris Pratt from Guardians of the Galaxy with Mario voices on top of his voice. I have to admit that was a lot of fun to make.
It was
Look,
good. Yeah.
Half
it
of the
was really
point,
good.
half of the point of this casting, I actually think is it memes itself to death. And what does memeing do? Makes this stuff cement in people's brains so that they will pay attention anytime they hear something going on with the Mario movie and they will flock to see it. I think this is happening regardless, but I don't think it actually hurts them to have this kind of negativity online. It's the kind of PR I think actually will end up paying.
Well, sure, but my point is not, let me be clear what I'm arguing versus not arguing. I'm not arguing that it is a bad choice financially for the movie.
Right.
I'm arguing that it is not the correct choice for quality of the motion picture.
You're saying if I can summarize what you're saying lame.
Yeah.
Basically.
Maybe you're saying lame. Are you saying lame?
And I wondered, we talked about this when he got announced that he was going to do the voice, and I said, I have a very particular idea of where I like Mario to be. I don't even go with how he sounds in games. I actually think Captain Lou Albano, Bob Hoskins, that's my Mario right there. I like that. He's a plumber from Brooklyn kind of sound. That's how I want Mario to sound. Now, not everybody does. That's where I land.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like what Chris Pratt's doing here is, and bear with me a moment.
Yeah.
There's bad guys in Doctor Who, where when you're looking at them, you can see them and interact with them. But as soon as you look away from them, you forget they ever existed.
Oh, the
And I feel like that's his
something or other.
accent in this movie. When you're listening to it in the moment, you're like, maybe he's doing a voice. And then as soon as it's over, you're like, I'm pretty sure that was just Chris Pratt, though.
Yeah. I think he's
And
talking
that's-
maybe an octave higher, but it's just Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
That's it. And the other thing I noticed is Jordan Peele's voice. Is it Jordan Peele? Or is it the Key guy? Never remember who's who.
The key, I know, Jordan Key Peel or Peel Key Jordan.
Kill P.
It's
Jordan.
those words, but in some order.
Yeah, some order they
I think
exist.
Key's
But
in the middle.
one of those guys is Toad, and they amp that voice up with some modulation to sound like high pitched, and
He sounds great. So does Bowser. I actually think the voice cast in general is sounding really good, with one exception.
Yeah, the
that
one
maybe we
lead
all
exception.
Expected. But I think everybody else sounds good. In fact, I was really worried because in the preview to this, they've got Jack Black sitting there talking about how excited he is to be Bowser, and I was like, look, I love Jack Black.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's gonna sound good as Bowser.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't know if he's gonna pull this off. And then
Well,
he talked, and
yeah.
I was like,
It's pretty
It
good.
sounds great.
Yeah.
It sounds like it may not be the way I would go with it, were I casting it, but it sounds good.
Yeah.
And I think that I have high hopes for everybody else.
Let's hear a taste of him. Jack Black is Bowser here. I'll just play it. A little quiet.
Open the gates!
I mean, that's good enough, dude.
It's not even recognizable, really.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It does a little later. You can kind of
I
hear
think,
more.
the Chris Pratt thing is just kind of lame. I don't really have a big issue with the rest of the casting so much. Like,
Yeah.
I would just broadly want to see, like, maybe other voice actors do it, but like dedicated voice actors, because what does it matter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it looked like a lot of fun. Like, it's
It
gonna be a
looks
lot of
great.
fun.
Yeah. I don't
visually awesome.
I thought visually it seemed more decadent and detailed than I thought it might be,
Mhm.
but I still don't know. I guess the one thing, like, where I was like, the voice acting is whatever, that conversation, but that, like, it does those things that 3D animated movies do, like the whole build up to these are penguins and they're so epically throwing snowballs, and then they cut to a zoom out where it's just lamely hitting Bowser.
have.
I feel like that's a gag I've seen a million times.
Well, you've seen it most. Like, you've seen it a lot in video game trailers and cinematics.
In video game trailers, and especially like I find 3D CGI movies. There's like a bag of tricks that CGI movie now that we have lots of them that they constantly pull from because they can zoom the camera out fast, like you can't do in a real movie. You know, so I was like, but I mean, it's probably aimed at all ages. So I'm sure if I was 5, I'd be off my ass laughing about that. So it looks good.
I'm beyond excited to sit down and watch this with. He'll be 4 next year. Sit down and watch it with a 4-year-old. I cannot freaking wait for that because he's going to love it. Yeah, he's going to love every second of it. And the truth is, I love all things Mario. Huge Mario fan. I think this looks true to what. That's why I think Nintendo had a big hand in this because they are obviously visually going for like this is the Mushroom Kingdom as we know it today. This isn't Bob Hoskins and Leguizamo trying to sort of be Mario Brothers in the live action thing. Like,
hey, I'm Mario here.
This is them saying,
I love it.
John
like
loves
mine better than Chris Pratt.
Yes.
You know, I was thinking about this.
I'd have Bo do it more.
With all the tools we have to like record and edit, I think people should just start editing their own versions of movies if they don't like the voice actors in them. I mean,
oh, that would be fun.
That would be
if you
fun.
don't like Mario, just record your own version.
The fan re-recording.
Yeah.
Like let everybody do that. Anybody who has an issue with any movie, don't like the way, She-Hulk sounds, well, record your own voice, or hire someone on Fiverr to record the lines for you and you can put them in.
Yeah. Plus it'd be some funny stuff. There'd be somebody using like that Arnold soundboard for it. So she'd be, I am the Hulk, I am She-Hulk. Yeah. That's a pretty
Mario
good Arnold.
Would come out and you want to stick a knife in me, see what's going on in you.
John's go-to is always that line. Always.
It's not even a real line. I just love it. I love it so much. Somebody said that to me once and it has stuck with me ever since.
I love it. It always comes out when we bring up Arnold and I love it. But anyway, we'll see. I don't know, man. I got some reasonably high hopes for this. In a world of, Minions and a million Sing movies and all the other stuff that gets put out all the time, where Pixar is considered the kind of higher art and then everybody else sort of falls in line. This seems in line with that. It's fine.
I'll tell you what surprised me is I watched the League of Super Pets movie.
Oh, yeah. How was that?
Awesome.
I heard it was good.
Like, legitimately very good. Like, Bo's criticism about I've seen that joke of it's epic and big and then zoom out and it's lame and tiny. Like, yes, we all knew that's what it was going to go to because it was well-trod territory. Like, I'm 100% with you, especially having to watch a bunch of kids movies these days.
Yeah.
Like,
there's a pretty consistent bag of animation tricks these films use. For me, anyways. I'm like, okay,
it's hard. It's easy to spot.
I've seen it 100 times. But that League of Super Pets, I don't even know if that's the full actual title, but it's really genuinely good and very funny, and also convinced me that Keanu Reeves has the potential to be the best Batman.
Yeah, he plays the dog, right?
No, he plays Batman.
Oh, he's Batman. I thought he played the dog, the Batman dog. No,
he's actually Batman in it, and he steals every scene he's in. Like the big coming together moment of the Justice League, they're all landing, doing their big, cool superhero entrances, and everybody's just watching Superman interact with Krypto, and it's dead quiet, and you just see the whole Justice League, and then Keanu Reeves just goes, I miss my parents.
I need to see it. I heard really good things. Yeah, I heard it was great.
I love it.
That's my recommendation. Is The Rock the Rock is Superman's dog, right?
Rock is Krypto in that.
Yeah, I hate the term Krypto has been stolen from that poor dog and used for nefarious modern reasons.
He deserves better.
He does. He's not an NFT, damn it. All right, moving on. Hey, look at this. CD Projekt Red, a name that will come up later in our what we played this week, because I did a thing you guys always tease me for doing. CD Projekt Red confirmed
playing video games.
There's a new Witcher trilogy on the way. 2 other games in the Witcher universe. There's a little confusion on that point. We'll get to that in a minute. And a sequel to Cyberpunk called Origins. What was the code name? It's right here somewhere. Hold on.
They were all fancy. They were all weird, like clearly code names. I don't know if you can read too much into the code name because they're all weird.
Yeah, and they said it was very early stages. But this is an interesting point to mention that all of this will be them scrapping the CD Projekt engine. What's it called? Project Red or Red Engine? I think it's Red Engine.
I think it's Red Engine.
They're dumping it for Unreal 5, man. Unreal Engine all the way forward, which I think is actually good. Just unify it, go with the tools everybody knows and uses, and build your game.
Give Epic their 30%.
That's the other problem is now Epic will make a lot more money. But anyway, they're gonna do 3 more Witcher games. None of this is surprising, but just knowing that they're in the works, they have a plan, is kind of exciting to me, and I'm all in on a follow-up to Cyberpunk if they can, launch it without being a hot mess. That'd be good. They can learn a few lessons there. I think part of that is the engine. I think they'll do a lot better by not trying to wedge their aging Witcher engine into making it this Cyberpunk modern engine with all these different mechanics. Like, use something that's made to sort of
like metahumans and all that stuff. I'm sure it's going to be a big undertaking to develop in the new engine.
What is this called? Let's see.
So there's different. They're named after stars.
Oh, Orion. Sorry, it's Orion.
So Orion is the code name of the sequel to Cyberpunk.
Yep. And then the Witcher games are Polaris, Canis Majoris, which sounds like a body part I don't want to see.
Yeah.
And Sirius. That's the one that'll be really serious.
That's the name of a body part you definitely don't want to see.
You don't want to see the serious body part. Yes, I mean, is anyone surprised that they're deep into, planning for the future and these 2 huge franchises that make them a lot of money? Probably not.
I mean, I guess it's pleasant to find out that there's going to be a sequel.
Yeah, I agree.
At this point.
Yeah, of that game, sure. But I mean, Witcher we knew was coming, right, Bo? Like that was a...
Yeah, I think we'd already heard rumors about the trilogy. This didn't seem like news. It's just good that it's confirmed, right? It wasn't confirmed, but I thought that had come up somewhere.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like shocking news to me. I think we'd heard something like that.
Yeah, we saw the image of the School of the Lynx medallion in snow.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And then the fact that there are other games in The Witcher, it just makes sense. They got to capitalize. The Witcher's hot property right now.
Right. Oh,
you got your Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
You can't capitalize on it if you're like, okay, we'll have one game in 5 years.
Yeah.
The time is now, so hopefully they can keep that momentum going over a few years and release a whole pile of games at once and hit big. And
I'd like that
provided they're well done.
Sure.
I don't know what a game without Geralt looks like, considering how iconic Geralt is.
Oh, is he not in
for a company
these?
of that scale?
Yeah,
No, it's a brand new trilogy.
Yeah,
he may be in it. My understanding, and I'm not sure, is that he dies at the end of Blood and Wine, like it's the end of his story. But I don't know. That's just something I have an impression of. I haven't played that far.
Yeah.
But I believe that I think the whole School of the Lynx thing is that he's a School of the Wolf guy, so it can't be Geralt. Like Blood and Wine's like the retirement X-Pac for him, I guess. Like I get this feeling it's going to be a new protagonist.
And chat, don't be yelling spoilers, chat. The freaking 7 years ago is when that came out. We're good.
I'm hoping, yeah, and I haven't played it either, so I'm actually not spoiling. This is all everything I say suspect. I still have to finish Witcher 3, including the X-Packs. That's my sense is it's they're gonna plan it as a trilogy. My most hopeful, they pull a Mass Effect trilogy with this and make the decisions carry over between games. Make a big old soup of narrative decision choice deal. I'd love to see that. We haven't had anything as ambitious as Mass Effect trilogy. And
what do you guys think of free-to-play mobile MMO Witcher game?
Oh my god! Why are you just trying to make me angry for no reason?
I mean, that kind of exists. It's Witcher Go or whatever.
Witcher Go.
There's no Witcher Go.
Oh, that's right. It does exist. No, it 100% does. Bo said that, and I laughed at the name, but it's real.
Hold on.
Witcher... Yeah, remember
It's the Pokemon Go clone from the Witcher universe.
Oh, I think they closed that down though.
And the Gwent game is technically a free-to-play Hearthstone.
Yeah, that's
play
true.
Free, buy packs. Like they're in that. They're in that. I don't think it aligns with their vision and values for what people see that company as. So I don't know how well they're doing, but they have those business models for sure.
I take it back. It's still a game. You can play it. I thought it went away. I'm thinking of something. Oh, I'm thinking of the Harry Potter one that got shut down by Niantic, but
Harry Potter.
Anyway, if you're excited, you probably are. It's probably fair to be excited. I like their
good
games.
News. It's nice to see them developing stuff. We weren't going to see it for a very long time. It took so long for Cyberpunk to come out.
Yeah. Don't you think though that
and then longer.
And then longer.
And then longer.
It's like I was watching that one trailer for like 7 years. They just teased it. I was like, I can't wait for this game. I grew a beard, got gray hair in the time between the game comes out.
Yeah.
So
I'll bet you.
Scott and I waited even longer.
Yeah,
then it came out in early access, and you're the only one who played it.
Yeah,
I'm the only one who played it on launch.
Yeah, I played it this year as a new game, basically.
Yeah.
So here's my prediction: next summer they announce or they do a little teaser trailer for it, and then they launch in 2024. I think that's how close a new Witcher game is, not a Cyberpunk game, but a Witcher game.
Yeah, I get the impression the Witcher game's been in production longer.
Yeah.
But I am excited for a new Cyberpunk game, and that led me to want to know, what would you guys want to see in a sequel?
Oh man.
You know, we all just played it. Scott, you'll get to it, but spoilers, you've seen a lot of that game.
Yeah.
Bo, you said you either did or damn near 100%ed it, and I'm making my way through it.
I did a lot of stuff. I did a lot. I don't know if I've got exactly 100%, but I did all the missions and shit.
Yeah. What would be on your wish list for a follow-up to that game?
Oh my gosh. I really enjoyed what I played.
I mean, I have lots of thoughts about this. I would like something I would like more. I would like a bigger game, first of all. Like less filler side missions, or the same amount, but it just felt like there wasn't enough. So you do spend a lot of time with your side missions with the romanceable folks, and I just wanted more. And it felt like they had these big plots that wrapped up pretty quickly on some of the side missions that could have been so much more.
Yeah.
I think I would want I want even for the current game. I want more lethal combat. I want just more engaging combat. Like you do get kind of powerful really fast in the current version of the game. You go from a 0 to hero, like that meter sort of ticks over super quick, where you're like, I suck, boom, I can just mow everything down. And I don't like, I compare it to Deus Ex, whereas as you unlock perks in Deus Ex, you do get better at things, but the challenge increases as the game goes on. I found there's zero gameplay challenge towards the latter half.
Yeah, especially if you,
even though the story was good, as the gaming experience is great, I want a better video game part of it.
Yeah,
I think that just means, and then I want the Ripper Doc stuff to be better. Like the base game really has a unique take on it, where I don't want to earn experience points. You should just make it a game where you can practice some skills, but like you're paying money to get the upgrade. The idea is like you're just flesh. Like the anime covers it. Like David's just a little dumb kid.
Yeah.
But as soon as he puts a Sandevistan in, he's God.
Yeah.
And then he realized he's still vulnerable to bullets. So, oh shit, let me get, metal muscles put all over my body, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And then have it be like you got to manage your cyber psychosis. You got to do all that stuff. Like make a dynamic, fun, interesting system in that world. And then I think just make it more open. Ultimately, I found, even though it's an open world game, it has the same criticisms I share of any open world game. It's like, yeah, but you got to go to this point in the game to start the mission, which has a linear path.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like if they can, I like that it's open world, but I want it to feel a little more like open and organic.
Yeah. I think
there's a really strong logic that exists in that game as far as like an upgrade path that I enjoyed, but to Bo's point, like I was powerful enough to overcome it before it started happening, which was, when you start out in Cyberpunk, you absolutely suck. Like you're just garbage. Like you try to sneak if you want to be a stealth character, and maybe you kill one person quietly and then everybody sees you and shoots you. Like that's just how it goes. And I think that there's this cool notion kind of going off of what Bo said, which is like, oh God, I'm getting shot a lot. Well, I better go do an upgrade so that I'm a little more bulletproof. And then eventually you get to people where all of a sudden they're using mods that make them super fast and have crazy reflexes and stuff. And now your bullets just aren't effective because they're just dodging it like crazy. It's like, I better go to a Ripper Doc so I can keep competing. Like that's what it is. It's this like escalation of chasing, like I'm not fast enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm not good enough, and I can have these parts make me better, but that also comes with its own problems. And I feel like the game kind of walks alongside it, but never fully embraces it.
Interesting. I think I agree with that after as much as I've played now. And one of the things that hit me was the minute I got guns, I did specialize a lot in gun stuff just because, I don't know, I felt like the shooting was okay. And And I like some of the guns that were just like blowing people back and putting them on their ass and then finishing them off. It was just fun. But they gave you those ones that are the smart guns. Forget what they're called exactly.
I think it's smart guns. The
smart
homing,
guns,
smart
bullets
guns?
or yeah,
whatever it was.
Smart guns. Yeah.
As soon as I got the chip that made those functional, because for a while there you can't even do it. You got to ripper dock it in to even do it. But once you do, and then I was just laying waste to everybody, just like mowing them down like they were nothing. And
there's no challenge. You just hold the button down.
Yeah, it felt a little off to me. I mean, I didn't go, oh, that's it, I'm out. But I think they could tighten that all up. I agree with the stuff Bo said. If anything, I would like a story that isn't necessarily wrapped up in some corpo intrigue like your main story. The corpo stuff's fine, and the what's the name of the company? Nakamura or whatever it is? Arasaka. Like, that stuff's cool. But I just hope they shake that up and say, okay, let's get a little more down in the dirt here. Like, I want more back alley shit in my Cyberpunk.
You do get involved with some pretty high, like some pretty well connected people pretty much from the jump.
Yeah,
like, they try to sell it like it isn't, but you're like pretty much close to the first mission. You're meeting one of the best fixers in the town.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
so that progression of being like a back alley punk.
Mm-hmm.
And earning your way into people's notice would have better progression.
Yeah.
I have one more, and this is in the extreme camp. Like, not going to happen. The brand has a solid identity, but I would rather see this game world be a CRPG than a first-person shooter.
Oh, interesting. I mean, they could do. Could they do one separately, like they did that one-off Witcher game that was kind of that with Gwent?
I mean, they could. It just, yeah. I think what happened was they sort of ruined things by reading the TTRPG prior to the launch of the game, and it gave me there was a lot of stuff that really interested me there that didn't end up translating, because they had to translate it into a first-person shooter experience, and there's just stuff I don't think that works. Like, again, the lethality of the world is a really big feature. Like, there's even a section in the rule book that's like, one person can be high on PCP, take 18 bullets and keep going. But they were relating to a real life story where, like, that a cop got shot in the foot. You wouldn't think it was lethal, but tissue shock is a thing, and they died.
Yeah.
And so, like, there are mechanics to say, like, you could get shot in the foot and you could just die. It's not like hit point 0, you die. It's like you got to roll to, basically you do not want to get shot. And it's not just people with guns in this game. It's like giant robots that shoot 500 rounds a minute, like, that could potentially. So it's like there's a tension there, and there's a setup and planning, and so they reflect that in the story when you're in that quiet room and in Afterlife planning the big heist. That's the TTRPG. Okay, you're with your team, you're gonna plan a heist. It's all cyber hack. We probably want to do it as stealthy as possible, and if we get into shit, and hopefully in the TTRPG your things are going to shit, then you desperately use your tools to stay alive. And I feel like that probably just translates into turn-based better than a shooter, because I think as a shooter, imagine building a shooter game where the idea is you never get into shootouts as minimally as possible. Like, if you build a shooter game, you want to kill like 10,000 people. So it's like there's this dissonance where we want to create this realistic world where you feel like you're a part of it. And then you're like, well, I killed 10,000 people, but I'm not infamous. Like, even in this world, I think if you mow down 10,000 people, there isn't a single person in the world. You're not going to hide. Everyone's going to know who you are, et cetera, et cetera. So I think they just need to lean less into the fact that it's this bomb-ass shooter if they're going to stay first-person shooter. But I don't know that that's going to satisfy the kind of audiences that like shooter games that they're trying to get to play this game.
Right.
So I'm like, this is probably better as a turn-based or pause and play CRPG style game.
Yeah.
But it's not likely to happen.
Probably not.
It's tricky now because it's also an established brand. Because another thing that I would consider is like, a very important part of Cyberpunk. And it's funny how long it took for them to get to this. And rumor is that the next update they're doing is going to involve some of this as well, is how you look, like cosmetic cyber enhancement, how you dress, how you act. Like, when you think of the people in the game that they mark as legends, like, they always have a style to them as well. And it's hard to sell that in first person. Like, I was happy that they have a transmog type system in the game now through outfits. Like, I think that's really cool. But then at a certain point you do realize you're like, oh, this first person game. This doesn't matter all that much. I could be dressed real stupid and it wouldn't matter. So there is a part of me that's like, I kind of want third person, but I don't know if they would do it. For one, they said philosophically they don't like it, and for two, now you have an established brand of this is a first person shooter.
Yeah, I don't know how you do even third person after you do first, because it's just such a jarring change. Like I can't imagine The Witcher in first person, even though you can kind of do some stuff in that game, I think, in first. But
the biggest analog is like an Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah,
like a first person RPG.
Yeah, I agree.
And the one thing I will say in its favor as a first person shooter is I really want either the modding community, fingers crossed, please, modding community, or CD Projekt Red itself to release a fully compatible VR version with like hands free, grab it, like all the. Having done it in Skyrim, Cyberpunk is a more immediate, like people lean into you and talk to you, like Jackie, like going, "Hey, hombre, how's it going? You ready to go get this heist on?" I'm like, I'm like, "Whoa, you're in my personal space, Jackie. Like we can chat about the heist without you being in my face."
Yeah.
So you really feel like it, because most VR games, like, yeah, it's VR, it's whatever. They're not polished like a AAA game, and this is very polished. So this would be the sickest VR game, and it's all first person. It's pre-baked. It's minimal work involved. So sadly, that isn't part of these announcements, but hopefully the modding community will make a good version.
Yeah, that'd be good.
This is like number one. If you were to play a modded game, this would be number one on my wish list for a VR mod.
Oh, wow. Number
fully
one.
Featured. Free hands. They have one, but you still use the controller and it feels, you aim with your head a bit. It's not quite there,
Right.
But fully hands-free. Yeah, this would be amazing.
I could see it. Here's Jackie laughing, by the way. I miss Jackie.
He's great. Jackie's great.
What
So
a
you
great
guys,
character.
so we've all got played far enough now that you know the sad news about Jackie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'd left that. sad
It
news
was a
while
real
ago.
gut shot. I was like, I like this character. Like,
Yeah,
whoa,
yeah.
what?
Yeah, that's
He's my buddy. Oh man, like when in the cab when he's like saying his last words.
I know. It's
hits you right
hardcore
in the feels, man. He just wanted to take care of his family and be number one. And you're like,
for a game.
Did anybody go back to Afterlife and order Jackie Wells?
No.
yeah, I did.
You can.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go do that
you
now.
Remember, you have that conversation in Afterlife where somebody dies gloriously. They get a drink named after them, and you can go back to Afterlife and get a Jackie Wells.
Wow. Can I get a Atom Smasher? Is that a drink I can get later?
Well, he's not dead, so no.
Well.
And he's a corpo schmuck, anyways. He probably
and nobody likes Atom Smasher.
Yeah, but I killed him. He's dead. He's laying there dead. I shot him in the face. Did I do a thing I wasn't supposed to do?
Spoilers for John.
Yeah, spoilers for me, Scott.
Oh, Atom Smasher is alive and well and kicking. He's doing great.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Fine.
no worries.
I will forget everything I heard.
I mean, technically, you could just not kill him. It's you that would do it. So, good luck with Atom Smasher. Anyway, so we'll see. All this is exciting. I like CD Projekt Red, generally speaking. They've had a rough go of it with this game in the early parts of it, but I think they caught up to themselves pretty well. I hope the future means more stability in their releases and that sort of thing. Dead Space. You know the game. Well, they're remaking it, guys, and it got a trailer. And not only did it get a trailer, if you are a Game Pass subscriber, you get a pretty decent discount if you pre-order the game. It is not a Game Pass game on day one, or I mean, maybe it eventually will be, but it's an EA game that is on Xbox platforms and the Xbox PC platform. You can get a deal on it if you're a Game Pass person. I forgot how much it is, but normally it's a $70 game. That's a lot for a remake, I think. Maybe a little more than I was expecting. But you can save like $20 or something if you're a Game Pass subscriber. Anyway, the trailer happened. Do we like it? What do we think? We like this thing? What do you think of this thing?
Yeah, I mean, I like Dead Space. It's a great. It's still, I think, one of the best settings for horror in the world. A creepy ass spaceship.
Yeah.
Is real solid. It is a remake. It's not just retexturing stuff. You got Isaac talking. You got the 0G segments. I don't know if you all remember, but in the first Dead Space, it was basically like stick to a surface, aim at a surface, float across the gap, stick to that. And that was basically it. That was as 0G as it got. This looks like you will actually be floating around doing stuff in it, which is something they did for the sequels. So that's going to be in there. Yeah, I think we're about to get a lot of Dead Space adjacent games between this and the other one that's by the people that actually made Dead Space.
Callisto Protocol, that's the other one. Yep.
Yeah, we're going to be getting a lot of them, and I like these style of games. I think Dead Space 2 is still like a real highlight for me of one of my favorite games I've probably ever played.
Yeah, it was a great game. I say that as someone who's terrified of it and don't like horror games, but Dead Space 2 I thought was so good.
And I know I've said it multiple times on this show, but I will still say the stage in Dead Space 2 where you go back through the Ishimura is incredible.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. Oh, that game is good. I wish this was a remake of 2.
One's good too, and I think playing better and all of that, I think it'll be real,
So one of the things I heard about this game is that they're cutting out all loading screens. So you can walk the length of the entire game without meeting a loading screen.
Oh, that's cool. That makes sense.
Wish there was
more of that.
Dead Space 1 and 2 were loading screen games.
Yeah, they had loading screens all the time. But yeah, you had all kinds of stream into the CPU pipeline stuff you can do now that you couldn't do back then. So that's awesome. I'm excited to hear that. I mean, I don't know if I'm more excited about Callisto Protocol because it's new and not a remake of something, but that doesn't mean it's the better game. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I mean, new is exciting, but I think I like Freaky Spaceship more than Freaky Prison. But
Freaky Spaceship.
Ooh, I like
Freaky Spaceship all the way. Isolated Spaceship.
Yeah, but Freaky
it's a classic
Prison,
setting.
Freaky Prison in space is pretty cool.
Cool. It's not
I mean, I'll take
high.
both.
Yeah,
I have a strong feeling I'll be playing both of these games.
Yeah, I think that's where I land too.
Huh.
You can have both. It's not one or the other. You don't have to sign an allegiance.
Yeah,
Kimiko's in one of them. I mean, it's hard to pass up.
She's in Callisto Protocol, yeah, and
she probably should have been the protagonist instead of Josh.
I kind of agree. I would rather play her. Here's the thing, though. With that game, you'll get Game Pass wins either way because if you have Game Pass, you'll be playing Callisto Protocol day one without paying anything, and if you want to get the discount on the other one, you can. So get both.
All
right. Disco Elysium creative leadership team got all shooken up this week. The leadership team fired from its own company by the investment group that helped realize the game in the first place. This was a bit of a stinker during the week. Saw this all over the place. What's the basics?
So I put some notes in here. It's not something you should probably need to read.
Yeah, but, what are just give us the basics. What happened?
Yeah, like
why
the broad strokes of this game, Disco Elysium. It's it's the only game they've made. Like this collective of artists, writers, whatever, got together and had a difficult, ambitious game that they made. Against all odds, it is. It won like game of the year, right? It's a CRPG. It's not flashy. This isn't Overwatch or Call of Duty. It reads like a great novel. It is not. It's dense. I would describe this game as kind of almost being hard to get up and play. You're like, oh, I really want to play this game. I'm kind of excited. It's like, oh man, I want to continue reading this. It's like a book where you're like, I know I want to continue reading this book, but it's reading. But once you get into it, it's just so good. And like PC Gamer just released their, they have a list every year where they update their which are the best games in 2002, and people fall off and get put on. And Disco Elysium's the number one game.
Yeah, it's a 100 list of 100 best PC games. So this is in the list of 100 now as number one right now.
Number one, and Elden Ring's number two. Like just put it in perspective, people love Elden Ring. They're like, nope, sorry, this is the better game. So, eat our shorts. And I'm like, yeah, no, I agree with it.
Yeah.
But the thing about this is like it's their only game, and everyone's like, "I'll take more of that, please." And it's very much it's not one auteur. We're not talking a Hideo Kojima kind of thing, but it's very much a collective of artists. There's beautiful I think it's impressionistic art. There's a beautiful art and painting in it. There's a lot of script, like book passages. The writing's important, the art's important, the music is iconic in this game. The character design, like so much of this strikes you as well wrought, essentially. So what ended up happening, I mean, what we found out, I don't know that we have a lot of details, is that someone on the creative team mentioned that all the leadership from the company has been involuntarily removed from the company by the investment group.
Oh.
So it would be like if Activision said, like, rewind 5 years ago, and Activision says, yeah, Mike Morheim, Chris Metzen, Jeff Kaplan, but you name it, if you know who they are, they're uninvited from the company. All the, founding leaders of the different teams, they're just out. Just cuz.
Yeah.
And then on the website for the company, there's like a job posting for monetization specialist, in terms of free to play games and shit like that. So there hasn't been much from the company itself, other than to say there's a team of people that still work at the company and they're working hard to produce vision. But it smacks currently as looking like these creatives made an awesome and interesting world, and they probably want to do something way out there for whatever they're going to follow up. They're not going to be like, well, we have this iconic character, let's leverage the brand identity. They're not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So probably the investors who invested originally have the power to vote them out and want to do that. So you might have a Disco Elysium freemium game on mobile or something like that. Like, they want to turn that iconic brand potentially into something. We don't know for sure.
Yeah. But
based on the job posting, based on the classic story of creators make something awesome, money people think they can do better than the creators at leveraging its profit power.
Yeah.
And it's doubly ironic because the content in the game, a significant portion of the game, is about communism, capitalism, rebellion, religion. So, you earn communism points. And at a certain point, your brain will be like, you seem to answer this way a lot. Do you want to be a communist? And you can be like, hell yeah, I'm a communist. Or you can be a capitalist. Like, hell yeah, I'm a capitalist. Like, it's very cognizant of all these fat things. So I think it's been very triggering that, do the investors not know the product that they're peddling? Like, I guess not. So it's just struck a lot of controversy because that's what made the game great. Most video games will be like, let's not talk too much about communism. Let's not talk too much about governance. Let's not talk too much about murder and depression and alcoholism. Like we want people to have a good time. But this game is like, goes the literary route where it's like, we're going to talk about the human condition and the truth, and we're not going to shy away from any of these subject matters. As you might expect from any great novel or film. And so it's hilarious. It's sadly hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's like one of the most ironic things to happen, at least in the gaming space.
Yeah.
In the past 10 years. Like, it won game of the, this isn't some side little game. It was lauded. This dinky, I'm sure a ton of people saw it was game of the year, bought it, and went, why is this, when you're like, why did this win Best Picture at the Academy Awards? Because it's like artsy and stuff, It's like Transformers was the best movie. What do you mean this movie is great? This would be the only example I can think of in the gaming space of something being like this, where it's like, it is a moving, difficult experience, and the gaming industry is just like, oh, you got some iconic characters there. People like Kim Katsuragi. Let's make a Kim Katsuragi racing game. Like, I don't know, but it just looks so dour, and it sucks. So that was a big controversy this weekend.
Yeah, it does
that
suck.
News came out.
It does suck. What do they? I mean, I assume this means they're never going to do anything this cool again.
They're still working on it, and like some of the developers have said, we hope that the finished product turns out something like what we envisioned. So we'll have to see, but we won't be involved with it. So who knows? It definitely doesn't look good.
Well, I've yet to play it, but that thing's on everybody's best of list. Like, I don't know anyone who doesn't agree with what you just said.
Yeah, and I'm using this as an opportunity. I have a secret motive. I see that you guys are playing Cyberpunk. You're loving the Cyberpunk. I look forward to talking more Cyberpunk in your sections, because I want to find out where you guys are at.
Yeah.
This is, if you should get around to playing this game.
I do find it funny that you put in here trying to sell us on it when it was a game I tried to sell you on.
Yeah, I know. I was like, yeah, it looks like a great game. Cyberpunk at least looks like, explosions and like gadgets and stuff. Like, this is not as saleable and you had to work hard to sell it to me, and you only played like 1 hour of it, right? Like, but you're like,
at the time I started, but I have since put in a ton of time on it. So
you have? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I've played a good chunk of this game.
Oh shit! Oh, sorry if I guess I had it in my head wrong. I thought maybe you did.
No,
And we
I
talked
think
about
when
it.
we initially did the show and I played it, because Scott mentioned it to us, I bought it.
Yeah.
I'm the one who played it. I only played it for like an hour, and I was like, Bo, you'd love this game. I don't know where I'm at with it. And I think I said, Scott, I don't know if this is your cup of tea.
Yeah, I remember you saying that at the time. Yeah.
But I think I did try and sell you very heavily on it with only about an hour invested into it. But yes, I did go back to it and started over, and really wanted to get into it. And then I did eventually fall off again. I think for me, my biggest issue is this is not a game I want to play sitting at my computer. So I actually have it installed on my Steam Deck because the last thing I want to do is play this game sitting at my computer. It's just not well designed for it.
Yeah.
I 100%
it's like a book.
agree.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. The only reason I endured it on my PC is because there's Twitch integration, so you can get Twitch chat to help you with the game.
Yeah.
And that's its own kind of fun, like begging people to give you upvotes
to
pass skill checks. And they could potentially kill. They actually killed me at one point because I had a low body, and if you have zero body, you lose health, and I died.
I think I actually participated in that vote. I think it happened. I think it happened right as I got to your stream, and I didn't know what we were doing, so I just clicked an option that popped up, and then I saw Bo freak out because chat killed him. I think I helped. I don't think I clicked the right skill. I think
there's a clip of that on my Twitch when I'm like, "What? You guys can kill me? I just died."
Yep.
Anyways, this is the Mad Max Fury Road of video games. Like, you want like a pure cinematic, in this case, a pure game experience that touches just everything.
Yeah,
this is it, man. The story is good, and we will not see his like again, kind of like you will not get especially now, we probably will never get a game that does what this does so well.
That's true.
We might.
And I will change one thing just to clarify. Scott, my initial assessment of it is not a game for you was true.
Yeah.
I think now that they have added, not that you can't read, that's what people are going to read into this comment, but now that they've added it being voice acted, I think it is up your alley.
Yeah, my patience for reading a lot of dialogue in a video game is often overstay their welcome. Like it irritates me that I have to read so much. I'm like, well, I may as well be reading a book, because I do read books. I love books, but I don't like sitting and reading video games very often. But knowing how apparently the port or the install on the Steam Deck is supposed to be stellar. It's like really works well on there.
It's on Switch too.
Yeah, I think I'll end up. Yeah, that'll be where I end up playing it.
I mean, I find this out of all the video games I've played the most inspiring to make other video games.
Oh wow!
Like, if only I could write as good as this, and if only I could, like, it's a text. I'm like, if only I could paint and put all these assets together and tell my own story. It's just so good.
It really is. I mean, the game opens up with, basically a celebration of being so like out of your own skull that you don't have to worry about anything and you can just not exist. Like, that's the opening thoughts of the game, is how wonderful it is to be in complete and utter like oblivion. Like, it's deep, like it's really good, but you also have to know what you're getting into. And I think my initial dive in, I had two things working against me. One, I picked an option where everything I viewed was interpreted very abstractly, and the game will adapt to that. And I was lost. It was not an easy way to start the game, because like, first of all, it's all in a fictional place, so you're trying to learn about where you are and what's going on because you don't know about it. And then you add to that the layer of, I said that my character was very good at seeing things in abstract ways, so the game did that and went, all right, well, that's how we're going to do it. So everything was analogy and metaphor and all of that, and I was just like, what the going on?
Yeah.
What is this? I don't understand. But I think if I play again, I think I'm going to play through as the type that is incredibly stupid. I think I'm gonna play through as like a bruiser with low intelligence because
same. I'm gonna do a lot of drugs, have a lot of muscle, and no brain. I played a brainy guy, and there's so much dialogue because you're like, oh, I know the entire history of this book, and I know like it takes so long to get through. I'm just gonna be like, me cop, me punch people.
Yep, it sounds great. It sounds really good to go through as an idiot. It sounds amazing.
Well, and this is one of those games, Scott, just for your benefit too, where it's like your actions accumulate to what ending you get. So it's like it isn't just progressing through it. It's like you make decisions, and the game's like, oh, so you're kind of like this kind of a person. It's interesting, and then by the end, you get an outcome.
Do your roles also attribute, like if you do a horrible roll and it's at a very crucial moment, that may or may not tip the scales as to where you end?
So it can be dialogue choices as well. Like I said, if you say a lot of communist things, your brain will be like, you sound like a communist. Maybe you'd like to become one. And you'd be like, yes. And they're like, you are now a communist. And like, I guess that opens up new options and stuff. Like, but there are white checks, which you can repeat infinitely, and red checks, which you get one chance at. And if you fail, you don't do it. And then so you have to accept the outcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can die from some pretty stupid stuff. I've died from sitting in a chair in this game, and I've died from looking at a light bulb. So
I died trying to reach my pants from the fan at the ceiling. Like the fan at the ceiling, like I slipped and it fell, and the fan fell on me and I died.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, the game is like the game thinks you're an awful person, and you are, and the game.
But you're not very physically good. Well, I've never played as physically strong. I imagine you won't die if you're a meathead in those ways.
Yeah, so I did do the initial bit of a meathead playthrough, and I did fail to get my tie off the ceiling fan, and my characters just sort of like shrugged it off, but they did hurt their back. But I didn't. It wasn't.
In this game, you're old, so you do things and you hurt your back.
It wasn't like the first time I played, and this might have been why my initial take on this game was bad. Was I was like, all right, turn on the light, and I turned on the ceiling light because my character was experiencing such a bad hangover. The blindingness of the light to my still coming to body gave me a heart attack, and I died.
Oh man.
So I died seconds into the game, and I was like, what the hell kind of game is this? I died looking at a light bulb.
I think it's just the beginning part where you easily die. Like later on, it's not as I found
later on. I died sitting in a chair. No, well, you didn't die. He quit. That's the thing. You sit in a chair so uncomfortable that you decide this whole being a cop thing isn't for you. And you retire from the force.
I think the opening is just. I think the opening has a lot of that. I didn't encounter a lot of deaths after a certain point when the story.
And is death going. Like start over, you're done, or is there saves, or what do
you
do?
Can save the game. You can save it wherever you want.
Did either of you play as Iron Man and just go the whole way and try not to die, or can you do that?
Well, when I died of that heart attack, I started from the beginning because I was pretty close to the beginning.
Yeah, you're basically just all I'd done is
my run took me 70 hours, but I think it took me 70 hours because again, I went high encyclopedia, and literally your brain tells you everything there is to know about everything. So I think a meathead playthrough would be a lot quicker because you're like, I don't know, look like car. Punch car. Solve crime. I imagine it's something like that. So.
You hurt back, but you have success.
I also there's a bookstore, and I bought every book and read every book. And
oh yeah,
it isn't like you read a book. It's like 5 paragraphs. It'll have excerpts that it reads from, and I was loving it. I'm there's even a tabletop art. So tabletop role-playing games plays a feature in the story. There's a component of it involving tabletop RPGs, and there's one in the bookstore. And I bought it and read the rule book of the fictional TTRPG.
Wow.
In the thing. Yeah. So, yeah.
Wow. That's
anyway.
You've once again sold me on it. I was ready to play it a while back, and then I got distracted. And then just the other day, I looked at it and went, oh, hey, you should install this, it said, because this is deck verified. And also that seemed like a cool place to play it. And I was worried about how big text would be. So, on a smaller screen. So I looked up some stuff on Reddit, and people are like, no, you can adjust all that. It's great on the Steam Deck. And so it's on there. I just got to play it. Maybe John and I will play that at the same time.
The one pro tip I'll give everyone, because they made a bad decision, was at a certain point you get the option to shave. And I did, and oh boy, you look hideous without a beard.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you sliced your neck
maybe
open.
When you get it doesn't grow back for the rest of the game either. So I got to walk around with my bare ass face.
You don't have any regrets about trying to punch a kid?
No,
falling on your ass and looking like a total tool.
that kid's a real C word.
Yeah. Ooh. Wow. All right.
He uses that word all the time. Yeah. By the way, lots of bad language in this game.
Sure. I assume they go all in. Yeah.
And that word gets used a lot in this game.
There's probably some bad language thrown around the office when they let those dudes go, when they fired them.
Is his name Kuno with a C or Kuno with a K?
C.
It's C. Unless he's a character in Mortal Kombat, it's always a C.
Kuno. That's his name.
Yeah, he's the worst.
I like to always
He's
assume...
the worst. I don't blame Bo for wanting to punch the kid.
Well,
that will always be my favorite thing that I ever saw.
Did you meet his dad? Did you meet his dad?
No, but I know enough. Like I found his little hidey hole, and I know that kid's got problems.
You kind of learn he's a kid, and the reason he's like this is because his parents, he's very shitty father.
John,
anyway, it's a good game.
Did you know that I'm putting a picture of Johnny Cage up over your head?
Yeah, I see that. My head is right where his crotch is.
Yeah, it fades in perfectly.
What's really amazing about Johnny Cage is that he somehow has a C in his name.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Why didn't they do a K like Kano or, other K names in the world of Mortal Kombat? They do, it's Ks, not Cs. They should have made him Johnny Cage with a K. I don't understand that. I'm really annoyed by it.
I don't know, but I'm happy to have him on my head.
Well, he's leaving now, so and Bo's got all kinds of. Bo looks like a 19.
Start this on the Discord. These are them dancing.
You're a 1997 GeoCities website right
there. He just needs an explosion, a spinning Imperial logo, and a under construction banner with somebody shoveling dirt.
Okay, quick.
That's disco, baby.
That reminds me. Before I forget, I did a AI image generation earlier where I just put the cast of the core podcast, and it gave me who I think their interpretation of John is, just standing there holding
zoom in. Let me see that.
This is you,
that.
Dude.
It looked like Bubbles from
a little bit, but you
what
got
am I holding though?
I don't know. It's supposed to be a microphone or something because it's a podcast thing.
It looks like I found a monkey idol.
Yeah,
man, I wish I looked that good. Honestly,
I got a weird wiener thing going. Or something in the back of your butt right there. I don't know what that is.
Look, you got to put it somewhere.
But yeah, the computer thought when it heard this thing, it got Bo's beard, your head, your glasses.
That's basically my face.
That's an amalgam of all of us.
I guess it is kind of, yeah.
Like if I frown, that's basically my face.
Yeah.
And those glasses are stapled into his head. They don't go to the ears.
I feel like those shoes.
Why do I have like Iron Man feet?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. Anyway,
you're wearing a watch on your leg, I think. Did I see that right?
No, I'm under house arrest because I'm too cool.
Oh, down here? I don't know what those are.
The belt buckles.
But you're all like
Final Fantasy.
One of them looks like a watch, though.
Oh, yeah, over
on stage right.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Or stage left, sorry.
I hate AI art. It pisses me off. All right, moving on. It pisses me off because it's both good and terrible at the same time. Just like I can't get my head around it. Intel, you know them. They made. Oh, geez, Bo, what happened to your screen? What happened there? What is
that's art from Disco Elysium.
Oh wait, no, that's awesome. I love that.
It's so good, dude. The art is incredible.
Yeah, I gotta play it. You know what? I'm playing it tonight. It's happening. When I go to bed,
sick.
Flipping open my Steam Deck, I'm playing. That's just
give it a little exploration. Try it out a little bit and see. Like I said, it's a hard game to get. It's not like Mario where you're like, I'm gonna play some Mario. It's fun. It's like, oh, I'm about to be depressed.
There are two things I was gonna do. For the next game. One was that, and the other was I forgot what the other one was. Freaking my brain doesn't work anymore. There was another game. The Nier Automata deal. I had a ton of hours in that on the PC, and I'm like, this is supposed to be really good on Steam Deck. So I think we're gonna put it on there, play it.
I feel like I've seen it on their list of recommended for Steam Deck, but you need to play this game, Scott. It is one that you will absolutely love. Is Return of the Obra Dinn.
Oh yeah, I have it on there. It's installed. I haven't played it yet. It
is one of the few games that I will just be sitting around and I will just start thinking about for no particular reason. It weirdly, like, I feel haunted by it, but not in like I'm afraid of it. It just every now and then, like sounds and thoughts and memories from that game come in. It's by the guy who did Papers, Please, which I know you love.
I did love Paper.
And
Lucas Pope for the correct credit here. That's who did those games.
And it is incredible.
I know. I just got to get to it. It's installed in 3 places. I freaking own it everywhere. Why
Getting
haven't
to the
I played
library
it?
is the hardest. It's the hardest game. The hardest thing to do.
Yeah, that's the boss.
I'm the same thing. I got Death Stranding. I got to crack that thing open. I want to check that out. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Oh yeah, this list of PC Magazine's top
I'm
100 games
Dyson.
is on there. That game. Anyway, what were you saying? Sorry.
Yeah, that was fun to look at. I'm kind of glad Bo put it on.
Oh
there,
my gosh,
it did distract me for a while.
I don't want to freak you guys out. You'll see this when you catch up to the stream. But I just was looking at the top 100. I was looking for the 40 through 31 range.
Yeah.
Nier Automata is number 37. Fine, that's great. I scroll down. Very next game, Return of the Obra Dinn at 36.
Yeah,
Oh, that is weird. That is really weird.
I didn't intend that to happen, nor did I intend Guild Wars 2 to be next, or Old World after that. Like all these games I play and like. Now we're getting into some territory. Valorant I haven't played. Destiny 2 don't
I mean, this
care
is
that
a
much.
good list because there's a lot of games where I'm like, I should play it, but I haven't played it yet. Crusader Kings 3 being another game. I'm like,
I know, right? Same. I want to play
Hitman
that.
3, haven't played it. Hunt Showdown is 6 on this list.
I know.
That
game's
that
good.
I feel like
crazy.
I'm
me,
missing
but-
out on something
Yeah.
here.
That
Like,
game's
this
good.
is
I like Hunt Showdown. It's very good.
Although, didn't we decide Bo couldn't play that game because of the spider? Because the spider's genuinely terrifying in that game. Like, you want to talk about a scary ass spider game? That game.
Yeah, we talked last week about Grounded, and we were like, no spiders, thanks. If you can't do those spiders, no way you're doing that Hunt Showdown spider. No
the
way.
Hunt spider is like scary for me, and I don't get scared in games that often.
That's good warning. But even Death Stranding is 12th. Like, I should play that immediately.
Yeah, I kind of want to finally play it too. See, this is one of those games that I want to get out from under the umbrella of hype, and I think that's now. Like, that's the time. Isn't this on Game Pass now or somewhere? Oh no, it's on.
Death Stranding. Yeah, I think it did.
If it's not, it's the PlayStation.
I think I
deal.
remember seeing.
Can't remember.
Well, glad I bought that. I'm pretty sure it's on Game Pass.
I think you're right. I need to just play that too, because finally I feel like I'm not. It's not. I don't know why. I avoided that game because of the press. I was just like, I was so sick of everybody talking about it.
See, Final Fantasy 14 is number 10 on that list.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, usually I hate these kinds of lists, but this list is so based. It's
it's good.
It's so good.
It's
like,
good. Where's World of Warcraft on this list? Just curious.
It's probably been pushed down because it's like something they maintain every year. So stuff gets added, stuff drops off.
Looks like they put it up all the time. Like they got they added God of War on here, which just came out this year.
It looks like it got removed. It's on somebody's personal list because they do some personal picks down at the bottom, and one of them put World of Warcraft on their list, but it is not in the top 100.
They took it out.
So they took off World of Warcraft, but they left Guild Wars 2 on.
Yeah,
that's the state of things in 2022.
Yeah, dude. Guild Wars 2 is good. Deep Rock Galactic's number 30. Rock and Stone, man. Rock and Stone. Anyway, Intel in the news. You know, they make the chips. That's what they do. They're inside, all that business. I have a funny story about Intel I can tell you real quick. Back in the 90s, I worked for a computer company, and I was doing graphic design stuff, and we had to print on one of these cases we were manufacturing the Intel logo that said Intel inside. And that was the most nightmare collaboration I've ever had with any other corporate entity. I had to call these people constantly. They had the most stringent, like, to the mega millimeter distance from edges of this and text of that and color of this and Pantone this. They were crazy about how to use their freaking logo to the point that I almost quit. It sucked. They were the worst. Anyway, this isn't about that. This is about their new video cards, the Intel Arc graphics cards, which we're reviewing pretty well. Not great, but well. But for the price of $300, you get a good 1080p to 1440p high to mid range thing, which maybe makes them a big deal in a market where 4080s and 3060s and every other video card is like going to make you take out a loan, and these are actually affordable. So
yeah, and those companies are saying that's the way it is, so no plan on changing that either.
Yeah, which gives Intel maybe their first window in this space, because up till now they've not been able to crack some of these areas and GPUs, and it partly is because their GPUs haven't been great, but maybe this is how they do it with the price point. It's like these are good enough for $300 for a gamer who's like, I just need to get by. I don't need the best thing. I need something that's just going to run my games. This will do it. So,
but it targeting the card I have, the RTX 3060.
Yeah.
It's not just like some budget card. It's actually a pretty good card. Like,
it's a great card.
You know what I mean? $300 isn't that like, yeah, you're spending $300. It can feel like a lot, but like, it's a good card. Like 1080p gaming, it'll shred anything you throw at it, right?
Yeah,
like I can play any game, 200 FPS. Like if all we had was 1080p gaming, it would be a monstrous graphics card. So the fact that it like costs less than half what I paid for the RTX 3060 with the same capability it's great. It's great.
Yeah, I agree.
Great.
I think this is a really good option for people who are sick of, they don't want to pay $1,000 for the card. That's just too. It's just too much. You might see
pre-builts come down too as these start getting tossed into system integrators as well, like pre-builts. So, you're even if you're not into building, there'll be an in-cheapening effect of your pre-builts.
I like that. In-cheapening. I also like that Overwatch 2 came out, but I couldn't play it. And here's why. All kinds of problems on day one. And they blamed mostly the DDoS attacks that were happening, coordinated attacks against servers of the game. This, according to Mike Ibarra, who said this on social media. And it was widely reported that was the case. A lot of people still also bump their heads against this phone requirement thing, which last week we talked about. Other games like Valorant and others also require this. But the problem here was people with prepaid phone accounts, which a lot of people do, couldn't play the game. And you can, in like Valorant's case, you can totally play with a prepaid phone plan that you might get at like
prepaid
that you get at like Walmart or Target or wherever, right? They're legit. There's nothing wrong with them. They're not like burner drug phones. And they didn't support them right away. A lot of that's been ironed out since, I guess. Here's the thing. I install it on my PC. It's free to play now. It actually is weird because it just converts Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2. There's no separate listing. So in the Blizzard launcher, I'm like, where is this game?
There's no separate game entry.
No, I couldn't find it. I was like, where is this freaking game on launch day? And I couldn't find it.
And then is like, why is it even called 2?
I know, it's weird. So then I installed it It did all the updates, and now it says Overwatch 2, but it's just, there is no Overwatch 1 running separately. They don't have that game anymore. It doesn't exist. So Overwatch 1 is effectively Overwatch 2. Reviews have been, outside of the technical issues of launch day, have been really positive for the most part. But I could never get into either due to queues, the DDoS attacks, or general motivation. I was having a hard time getting excited. And that's probably going to be true of the three of us in general. I know it is for John.
I played during the beta phase. Like it's going to be the same game, which is both good and a bad thing. Like you're saying, It's like, well, good to know it's still there.
Yeah.
Do I need to play it right now?
That's the only thing for me. Like I do want to see the battle pass and how it works. I do want to see the way the 5v5 works instead of 6v6. The whole you can only get a tank per play, and everyone else is forced to choose damage and heal. And they're creating actual comps and not just a full tank comp or whatever. Like all of that's interesting to me, and it seems like I could have a good time. I don't know what next year will bring with the single player stuff they keep promising. Who knows? Forgetting all of that though, like I am interested. I do want to play, I think. But when people are like, it's down. Oh no, they took it down again. Like tonight, right now, they're down for several hours while they do something.
Yeah, like scheduled maintenance, it says on the BNet launcher.
I'm okay to wait the little. I'm fine. Like it's fine. I'm not. No
yeah,
rush.
I mean, it's like that Lost Ark 2 during the first week. It was hard to play. Servers were like, it's the online gaming space of the mega corp that's super popular. Like Blizzard is the company you think of too with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They're still massively popular in spite of all the vitriol.
Yeah, I do also want to play
and all the bad things.
I want to cross play some. I'll get on my console version that's installed. I'm ready to try it.
Overwatch 2 is released. It'll be here for years to come. Yeah. Right. So
and it's free.
I think it's the the YouTube, Twitch community, and all the people that want to play first while it's hot business.
Yeah, I don't need to be them in this case. It's fine. And plus, I don't know. I've never seen so much chatter about this is maybe just who I follow, okay? But I'm on Twitter and I notice that the chatter around the game heightened to a crazy level for 2 days prior to launch.
Mm-hmm.
And then a whole bunch of stuff on launch day about DDoS attacks, and then nothing since Tuesday. No one is talking in my feed about it at all.
Right, well, compared to the first time, there was lots of play of the games and memes going around. Right,
yeah.
I think it's it's kind of a known quantity, and that's going to sound like, because John hates Overwatch, that sounds like me poo-pooing.
Here we go. It's time for the John hates Overwatch parade.
But it isn't. Overwatch is a good game. Like, shocking. It's a good game, but if you like that game or not.
Yeah.
And this is going to maybe revitalize if you thought it got stale. So I think it will bring people back in. If you were already in, I think you're going to stay in. But I don't think there's anything about this at this point. And, the plan is that there's going to be more content, more updates. It's going to be more of a 2 as time goes on. But right now, I think we all kind of know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a big mystery to unravel. I don't think there's a big thing to get excited about unless it's in your wheelhouse. And then you already knew you cared, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It'll do fine. It already is doing fine. They've pivoted to the world, which is a free-to-play model that will probably make them a ton of money and also be more accessible. I know I'm excited not to have spent $49 to find out. I just have to launch it and see how it is. It's fine. It's all fine. I know Patrick's losing his mind and thinks it's the greatest thing ever, but you can't stop the French from liking Overwatch. That's just the rule.
Well, Patrick's a big fan of the game. Remember, he did the podcast Overwatchers.
Yeah, he loved it.
I did their theme music, by the way.
Yeah, that's as you did. That's true.
A long time ago, but yeah. We still love Patrick.
Oh, we do, totally. Who's the French character in the game? I forget. Doesn't that have a French character?
Widowmaker. It's not Widowmaker who's French.
Oh, she is. So is Baptiste, I think, is also, well, he's not. His name.
It's a real testament to when I got out of Overwatch that you said that, and I was like, who the hell is Baptiste?
Baptiste might be Creole. If he might speak Creole, it might not be French, but could be French.
Could be a French
Baptiste
colony.
is a French word, like Saint Jean de Baptiste. That's a holiday here.
Yeah,
in Quebec.
I think it's like Quebec in that it's probably some.
I think it means Baptist.
Yeah, but it's some French colony or something, and then people grew up in that.
So he's either French or he might be like Haitian or something like that.
So that's why Patrick likes it, is my point. He loves the French.
Like Placide and the Voodoo Boys and Cyberpunk.
Yeah. I like the Voodoo Boys.
I
love, you know what? Overwatch. Hold on a second. I love the Voodoo Boys. That's what I want more of in the next Cyberpunk.
They're scary, though. Like,
they are so scary, but I loved it because they were mysterious and weird. The guy that you talk to all the time, forgot his name.
So he was great.
Jeez, he's cool.
I feel so bad that I killed him.
Yeah, I did too. When he died, I went, I want you to be the throughout this game.
Wait a minute. Did you kill him or did he die from something else?
I don't remember.
Because I killed him. I went from playing it to Bo's stream, and I was just like, because I just wanted to talk to somebody about it. I was like, hey Bo, I killed all the Voodoo Boys and I feel really bad about it. Because like you, I really liked them.
Yeah.
But I was just up to that point in the game, you get betrayed so many times. And it was like this string of, well, if you want to help us, you got to do this thing. Surprise, we didn't think you'd succeed, but you did. So we really don't have what we said we were going to give you, but thanks for helping us. Here's another thing. And then they betray you again, and then they betray you again. And it was just so many betrayals that at the end, it gave me the option to either pull out my gun and be like, I want revenge for this, or to be like, it's fine. We're still working together, I guess. And I was like, how lame. Yeah. I've been fooled so many times by these people. I'm not going to sit there and be like, it's fine, guys, that you keep betraying me. So I pulled out my gun, kind of hoping that I just look like a badass. But as soon as I did, everybody wanted to kill me. And I had to kill like all the Voodoo Boys. They are all gone. It was a long shootout. And I had to kill that one dude, and he was awesome, and I really liked him. And I was real mad. I almost reloaded my save, but I was like, no, I just don't think I can bring myself to pick the it's fine that you betrayed me. Please have an opportunity to do so again, you guys.
Well, talking to him was great because it was like, hey, V going, hey, you voodoo boys with your stuff and your deal. And he would be just like, I don't talk about these things. We are focused on the thing we were doing. Like
Yeah.
something about him, man. And Chat
awesome.
fixed me on the Baptiste thing. He's Haitian, which is originally a French colony, and that's why he probably has the name.
Yeah. They speak Creole, not quite French, just like they do in the game too. It's. I know you guys don't probably know as well as I do because I speak French, so you can tell the difference. But yeah. Anyways,
I love that you can speak French. I think it's a cool. I like friends who can speak other languages.
My ex-girlfriend was Haitian, so she actually spoke Creole. So
oh, very cool.
A bit about these things. Oui,
poo poo. Yeah,
I know a bit about Haiti.
Fantastic. Well, you also know a bit about Peacock, or its free alternative, Freecock. They're making a
well done.
They're making a community movie, and you're probably pretty stoked because you're the biggest like mega community fan here. So you stoked about this?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I forgot I put this in. Yeah, I don't have much of substance to say other than I'm happy the meme is being fulfilled.
Yeah,
6 seasons in a movie was a thing they came up with as a Abed meta humor in season 3.
Yeah.
And they, barely made it to 6 seasons. Man, those last 2, it was like, you're in the desert crawling without any water, trying to hump it to the 6 seasons, which I think it ended depressingly beautiful.
Yeah.
It was a depressing end, but I wouldn't have had it any other way, really.
Sure.
I like that the show wants to like just tear itself its own butthole and crawl in and then do it all over again. Like, it's the Dan Harmon effect.
Well, you're getting everybody except no confirmation on Donald Glover, Yvette Brown, Nicole Brown, and Chevy Chase. None of them are probably coming back, is the current word.
Donald Glover has to come back. Actually, Yvette has to. They have to come back. Donald Glover was back for the reading. Donald Glover is the Chevy Chase thing is like he was a real shithead, and nobody liked him. He didn't like any. That I could see them. They'll probably just take clips of him and like use them in some terrible way. I'm guessing. Like they did in season 6 and stuff. They'll find a way to make fun of Pierce.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And Donald Glover and Yvette are coming. They have to come back. I mean, all of that cast is the heart and soul of the thing. It would be sad not to have them back.
I would be sad also. But what I'm not sad about is taking a break before we do Dear Martha magazine reviews, because, people got to pee, and that includes you listeners listening right now live. So everybody go take a whiz. And when we come back, Dear Martha, what we played this week, emails and more. Come back momentarily, if you would.
Whiz.
Be right back. Oh, shit, I got to save. All right, so this is happening. While that's happening, let's play this. Let's put that up a little bit here. Okay. I peed fast, apparently, because John and Bo pee slower. That's just the rule. I don't know what Bo's showing us. Who is that? Is that from Disco Elysium? I bet it is. John, is this Disco Elysium Bo showing us that GIF he's playing?
Yeah, I think it is. I don't know if it's actual gameplay or just playing with the models, but yeah, that's definitely characters from the game.
Okay. Well, I decided to put my money where my mouth is, bring my thing down. I'm going to start the
Glad
install.
you're showing the screen right now.
Yep.
People aren't using theater of the mind with what you're just saying.
Yeah. That way I can start the download. Obra Dinn's already on there. Oh, I bought a case, by the way. Check this out. You can't hardly tell, actually, but
Not that one that has $1 million lawsuit
no
coming out of it.
Not that one. This one's just like some $20 rubbery thing. I got it mainly so I could recommend it or not. Like, I don't feel like the device needed it, which is a little bit weird just to throw money at it for that, but it's only $20.
What do you think of it? Do you like it?
I like it a lot. And I also got these little knob replacements. They're actually not replacements. They're just these rubberized stick toppers, these white things that I put on there just to see if those were any good. Same thing. I like them a lot. But it feels a little bit like I didn't need either of these things. Like I didn't need them.
Yeah.
But I like them. The grippy case came with 2 screen protectors, and so I just have the one right now on there, and it's working good. I don't know. I'm happy with it. It doesn't, but honestly, again, it made it a little heavier. I guess if I do drop it, it will add some protection, and I won't scratch it because it's got the screen thing. So I guess those are a reason.
Yeah.
But I'm careful with this stuff anyway, so it's not like I'm a sloppy user of my Steam Deck. But I don't know. I would recommend them if people are looking for those things. If you're like, ooh, I want a case and a protector, should I do it? Yes. If you don't care, then don't. It's not worth the money.
I'm kind of thinking about it. For me, it's mostly about the screen. It's such a nice screen, and they do occasionally encourage you to touch it, which always gets weird for me.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I would think about it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I'll send you a link to the thing I got, and you can read more about it. All right, Bo's back. Let me get back into the mode here.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back.
Oh, hi. We're back from the break. And guess what, everybody? You know what that means. It means time for us to do a little Dear Martha. John's been putting together these amazing magazine reviews. Oh, did you already send me the images? I didn't pull them down yet.
Oh, hold on. Let me do that. Here, vamp for a second.
Okay, I'm vamping.
I went to do it really early, and I was like, well, I don't know if I want to go too early in case Scott's like, so he loses it.
Sure.
How
I got
about them
3
leprechauns?
images for you.
How about them leprechauns, you said?
Yeah. I was just thinking, because we were talking about D&D.
Yeah.
I mentioned Pelvis Bunt as a character, but we actually had a legit leprechaun at one point.
Oh.
In the campaign.
Oh, that's right. We did.
Yeah.
There's
All right. There's the 3 images for you, Scott.
All right. Vamping done.
Okay. Tell me, Bo, while I pull these 3 images down, can you please...
Oh, I tried to load Overwatch while we were playing, and this happened to me.
No way. All right.
I guess my on-screen control for my new monitor is like not happy with Overwatch.
Damn, dude. That's gnarly. Well,
but I did eventually get in. The queue is 2,000, but I think it's down for maintenance, so I don't know what I was expecting.
That is true. It is down for maintenance.
I was like,
all right, let's get in here.
Steam Deck looks sweet, by the way.
Yeah, I got this. I was talking about this case I got for it off air, so people on the recording haven't heard this, but it's nice. It's only really for people that are worried about that stuff. I'm very careful with this device, so that's not why I got it. I got it because I wanted to have one to review and talk about. So for about $25, I feel like it's a pretty good value. It's big, rubberized skin basically for the whole thing, and then a glass replacement to protect the screen. And touchscreen still works through it.
It's a prized piece of electronics. It's nice to buy a little accoutrement for.
Just a little something, right? And John, yours came with the case, didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it did.
We'll talk about that when we get to it because I think there's some confusion about who gets cases and who doesn't. But we'll get to all that. I don't mean it like a have not haves kind of thing. I think it's like depending on the model, You only get the case if you get the high-end model, but then their actual sales material on Steam says that everyone gets it, and some people aren't getting them. Like Dunaway didn't get one. We're not sure why, because it says he should have gotten it. Anyway, we'll figure it out. All right, moving on from rubber things to paper things, a magazine, if you will. John, any setup here? You just want to go for it?
No, I think you'll be able to figure out when to go from one image to another. We'll start with the cover just because, let people see what's going on. We do talk about it a little bit. This is a notorious magazine.
Yeah, this is one you've all heard of before. So let's play and go. Here we go.
My dearest Martha, my travels in time have taken me back to 1988 and given me an opportunity to read through one of the most iconic video game magazines of all time. I'm speaking, of course, of Nintendo Power #1 from July-August 1988. This magazine is already infamous. Just look at that cover. A beautiful little clay sculpture of Mario from Super Mario 2. And even more impressive is how wonderfully off Mario looks with his jet black hair and boots. Not to mention his iconic red cap made blue. He even has a vague look of madness about him that truly makes me empathize with his enemies for fear of the torments this Mario could visit upon them. Also, he looks like he's stealing carrots. This cover makes it look like Super Mario Bros. 2 is about stealing carrots from a frog.
Yeah.
Inside the magazine, though, you quickly see why Nintendo Power became such a favorite magazine for so many. It's colorful, features a ton of original art, and the strategies they give for games is actually really good. It features full-color maps for Mario 2, Zelda 2, and where so many magazines that even came out years later were drowning in text, Nintendo Power filled the pages with art and screenshots, maybe even too much at times. But we need to talk about the poster, Martha. The touted free poster that was so exciting, Mario is literally punching the words on the cover. It damn near gets top billing. They want you so excited for this poster. What is it of? I just imagine kids excitedly flipping through the pages. Is it that wonderfully weird cover art? No. Is it Zelda 2? No. Maybe Metroid. That was popular at this time. Nope. The poster is for baseball.
Yeah.
Martha, I consider myself a man of sophistication, above the debasement of outburst and profanity, but what the shit is up with this poster? It is the most weirdly erotic baseball has ever been. You have a hot dog and a drink just ejaculating all over a crude baseball man that seems to play for the Nintendos, who, by the way, is missing a leg, and it's been carefully concealed because drawing legs and feet are hard.
Yeah.
How do I know it was intentional? Because the leg and foot you can see are jacked up and wrong. But it's not just the phallic spitting food. The 3 random baseball games being advertised, the random baseball words slapdashed around the art, or even the nonsensical inclusion of the bat signal for no good goddamn reason. No, the thing that gets me is near the bottom, the batter swinging a bat that looks like it came right out of a Saints Row game. Maybe it's a gigantic Twizzler. Who can say? I do know that it's ribbed for somebody's pleasure. So please, kids, get excited and hang this on your wall. I'm sure it is much more exciting than a Mario, Link, or Metroid. Of course, I must also mention an ad I liked. This being Nintendo's own first magazine, the whole thing is basically an ad, while still not actually being near as full of ads as others. But right away on page number 1 was a real winner. It's an ad for the Nintendo Power line, a pay-for-tips phone number. But it also is advertising the very magazine you're reading, although with a hand-drawn cover instead of the clay one. It's just a big reminder that I'm in the 80s. Bulky clothes, weird shoes, rotary phones, and people just absolutely stoked to be taking your money to tell you how a magazine says to play a video game. Art. In closing, Martha, Nintendo Power is a joy. Most of it is nostalgic. But what a wonderful trip. So I leave you with this. I have no idea what the future may hold. I'm only going back in time, not forward. That's the lore, Martha. So, however people may react to Mario in 2022, please remember that we always have weird-ass blue hat clay Mario way back in 1988. Yours in the past, present, and future, S. Beckett, 88.
Nice. Well, that reminds me, that was amazing, by the way. Incredible work as always. I love these, so always do these. Did you watch the new Quantum Leap deal? You have any interest in seeing
I heard
that?
I heard it was a thing, but I didn't even know it was out.
I heard it was good. Like,
really?
Yeah, a couple episodes, and it's supposed to be like legitimately okay. Which, I don't know if that means good, but good enough, I suppose.
Does it have the bacula in it?
It's got the bacula. No, it doesn't have the bacula. He's not in it.
So that was great, John. I loved it all.
Yeah.
I actually found it on the Internet Archive and tabbed through the magazine while you were reading as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I just want to point out one thing is that Nintendo Power had a movie section.
It did. So
I posted a page here, and I'm like,
wait, what?
It's just so like by today's standard, it looks just so.
Oh, look, it's
so
Pee Wee Herman.
One thing to know about these magazine reviews is I basically go through and I read most of the magazine. Sometimes I read more in depth versus just glance. But I write up funny tidbits as I go through it. And this one was really long. And so once I get done with it, I'm like, all right, what do I actually just want to talk about? And sadly, talking about the movie section got cut. It's some of what I deleted, but it's really weird. It's really out of place and very bizarre.
My favorite part is the way this bit is written about Cyndi Lauper. She's in a new movie then, but I don't understand this line. Cyndi Lauper, the high-energy rock singer who proved girls are not the only ones who want to have fun. Hold on a minute. Isn't her whole thing is that she proved girls just want to have fun?
Yeah, just.
Why does it say prove that girls are not the only ones who want to have fun, which implies this? I don't get that.
It turns out crap writing is not in the internet. We're like, clickbait and crap was not invented by the internet. It's just like, we need to fill a page with some stuff about movies. Let's go.
It's really bad.
Yeah, it is. And, it was such a weird picture, too, of Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah. It is. It's a very disconcerting.
He looks like
picture.
he's a cool guy. Check out my hot girlfriend.
Yeah.
I'm like, that.
Hubba, hubba.
Oh, that's weird.
You know what we ought to do?
Romantic male lead, Pee Wee Herman, right there, just living his best life.
I'm going to actually call this Nintendo helpline, see if it's still active. Let's try this.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it.
Okay, here goes. I'm dialing. Allow. Here we go. We're ringing. Oh, it hung up. Why?
So
why would it hang up?
Give us any tips?
You gotta pay.
Well, that's weird. Is that why?
You gotta pay for tips.
Maybe they just block. Let me try it one more time. I think maybe they block Google Voice stuff. Let's see. 206-885.
Oh, sure. I'll call it on my. I can call it on my cell phone.
Yeah, that's true. We could totally do that if we need to. Hold on a second.
I need the number. Oh, the number's in the Slack. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it won't let me do it here. That's unfortunate. Try it on your cell phone.
Okay, I'm trying on my cell here from Canada. I probably got to dial a 1. I don't know what area code 206 is.
I don't either. Let's see. That's probably Redmond, Washington, maybe. Let's see. 206.
Let's put it on speaker.
Area code. Well, that means it's dead. Just a poop number.
That's so. Imagine if something was still running there, like some old machine that's like 30 years old. That's like, hello, welcome to Nintendo Power.
Lady named Mildred that'll give you tips for Nintendo games. She's like, all right, what do you got? You playing the Metroid?
What are you doing there? Area code 206 is Seattle and surrounding suburbs. So there you go.
I love their idea of who's going to call. Like in this ad, there's a little square picture, and it's like, a mom who's smiling, super happy to be like, my son just wants to know how to pass level 4 in Super Mario Bros. like that ever happened ever?
I don't know that. I don't know that a mom ever called that thing unless they were complaining, like this cartridge won't start, or that probably happened here and there.
Oh, I'm sure that happened, but the ad copy clearly says it's for tips from the pros.
Yeah, the pros.
Yeah, you've got
sorry, my dogs are
stream safe Sean Astin over here leaning in looking at the magazine. ready to give her some help.
Yeah,
I
don't
gotta
like
get
any
in.
of this. You got Scott Baio on the phone. You got girl sitting, and then you got low rent. Who'd you say? I forgot who you said.
Sean Astin.
Sean Astin down there. And then they got a stack of these on the floor. I don't want to call these professional.
But there's only one issue of Nintendo Power, so none of those are Nintendo Power on the ground.
Yeah,
and also that's like the prototype issue because it doesn't have Clay Mario. But I do think it's interesting that everybody talks about the cover and messed up blue hat Mario and all of that.
Yeah.
But there are illustrations of this version of Mario all over this magazine.
Really? Really?
Somebody drew it multiple times. Like it's in there a bunch. You can see, and you can also see him the right way. Like it's both.
Yeah, it's
weird.
It's
really, really weird.
Very weird.
It's such a cool magazine though. Like they definitely front load it. So like the first, however many pages, 50 pages or whatever, is all very much like tailored for kids. Lots of pictures, lots of cartoons, lots of drawings and everything. And then as you get near the back of the magazine, it's like, oh, here's where we saved our money, because it's stuff like the movie reviews where it's like, here's a couple pictures and a lot of text about movies.
Yeah, that's very weird. The movie part I do not remember at all. That's news to me. They probably dumped that later, right? That wasn't there to the whole run of that magazine, I don't think.
Probably. Yeah, I don't remember. My friend had a Nintendo Power subscription, so I remember reading them, but I mean, it might have been there and I just never looked at those pages. You know what I mean? Like it's like
that's what they call filler, you guys. Filler.
I mean, it's 110. This magazine's 110 pages.
Yeah,
like that's a big magazine.
Yeah, it's big. I love magazines. I miss them. I want to make one every time. What's his name? Tazaric in our chat and community makes a cover for Core. I want it to be real.
Oh, I love those. Those turn out always so great. It makes me wish we could.
I know it's not a market for that, but at the very least we should print those as prints, sell them, and give him a cut of it.
No, I just want to hang it on the wall like it was real.
Yeah.
I just want people to come over and be like, this is the magazine. Like, I do the podcast. This should be enough for me. It's probably more successful than if we did a magazine, but I just want a magazine on the wall so I can tell people, like, we did that.
There's something about it, man.
we did that magazine.
I think the best thing he did about that too is that it's called Core the Podcast, the magazine.
Yeah,
which I just really like.
Yeah, and it's great. And he does these things like, well, John, does it turn out John likes a thing? Find out here. Like whatever little thing we talked about the previous week or month.
There's nods and inside jokes about lakes and such and so, and
they're great. They're so amazing. I just love that he does those. So
I'm so flattered every time there's a new one. Yep. He said he's working on something too.
Yeah. I don't know what. I want to do like
I think it's probably pretty ambitious by the sounds of it. So
I would do like a little zine magazine thing for us in a heartbeat if we could find just if it made sense. Like, I don't even know how it will make sense.
Collector's item or something like that. Like
something.
Just,
even a one-off. Yeah, exactly. Like a one-off.
Like or Core annual.
Oh my
but
gosh.
It's just one.
Why am I so fast? I know paper is not the thing it used to be, but I would buy this.
No, I'm with you. And doing the Dear Martha's magazine reviews has only made me hungrier for it. Like,
right.
I mean, I do love all of this so much.
Yeah.
I do miss magazines. Before cell phones and internet were a thing, magazines were fun.
Yeah.
That's where you got that kind of info, was magazine, like just,
Yeah, and
yes, it was full of ads, but this kind of click, like, it was your algorithm. It's like, go to the magazine store and pick what you want to be advertised.
Yeah.
I would go get a music making one, and
I would bring home, Wired or not Wired, EGM or whatever it was, and I would devour it. Just start at the front, not skip a single word, rip through the entire thing, look at every ad. It was something special about that era.
Do you also remember there was those newsprint ones that were computer oriented about parts and had BBS listings in the back? Like we had one that was local, like it was on newsprint. It wasn't a fancy magazine, but I loved those too.
Yeah. No, like your skater magazine thing you did when you were younger. I'd love that.
Well, yeah, that's when you would be in high school and you just take paper and staple it and make like 5 copies of whatever. There are copies of Weedazine out there, I think. If they haven't all landed in the garbage by now.
I freaking love it. I don't know. Maybe we'll do something, you guys. We'll let you know. In the meantime, games we played. I beat Cyberpunk 2077. I know. Another game I beat this year that didn't come out this year.
I'm chipping in. We need to like celebrate with the chipping in music.
Do I not know that? What is that?
You can't play that anyway.
What is the chipping in song? I don't even know what that is. What is it?
It's like the iconic song by Johnny Silverhand's band, Samurai, in the game. Chipping in.
I think I blocked some of that out because I hate the fake band stuff. Drove me nuts in the game.
Chipping In's great. I listen to that non-ironically. I like Chipping In.
Yeah,
because the music in that game was good. I liked it.
The music throughout the game is amazing. I thought the band music when they were playing and you were in those flashbacks was just stupid and thrashy. I didn't like it.
Yeah, well, I mean, like they're not all the best, but Never Fade Away is amazing, especially the slowed down version.
Yeah.
That played after my encounter with Judy, and it was just so I'm like, when you're like it's 3 a.m. and you're heading home and the sun's coming up and you're listening to some weird like soulful song. Anyways, it was a bood. Anyway,
well, I played and beat it. By that I mean the story.
Yes,
I beat the story. There's tons to do still. I got all kinds of side content, and I am doing that, enjoying that just fine. In fact, I really like the side content of the game. I think the side quests are fun.
I have questions.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to ask them because I know John hasn't finished, but what kind of ending did they give?
Oh, do you want to know what I chose?
Let me do headphones off. You guys, we do this in D&D all the time. You guys talk ending, and I'll put headphones back on, and if people watching don't want spoilers, they can unmute when I put my headphones back.
Yeah, there you go.
Spoiler alert.
If you're at home in the audio world, this will take me less than 5 seconds to say. So I will say it in 3, 2, 1. I chose to go back home and die. That's the end. That's the end of the spoilers. No, just go back and live out my 6 months.
Oh, that's a possibility.
That's a possibility. Yes.
You didn't raid Arasaka?
Nope. No, I did, but I didn't do. Oh, this took longer than 5 seconds.
Okay, so that last mission, there's different ways to do that last mission.
Yeah.
So who did you do it with? Last mission.
Who did I do it with? You mean like?
Well, I mean, like who were your companions on the last mission?
Oh, that would have been me and I can't remember who was with me.
Was Pan Am with you?
No, there's not Pan Am.
My ending was Pan Am, and all the Nomad boys helped me raid. I had a whole driving sequence, and it was all Mad Max Fury Road driving up into the place.
We did none of that.
That's what I mean. There's like that last level can play like 5 or 6 different ways. So that's why I'm asking, who are your companions in that last level?
Now that I think about it, I think it was just me. What's her name on comms? Sakura,
Rogue?
Whatever her name is.
The Arasaka lady,
yeah,
sister?
And then the German guy. I think that might have been it. I think I kind of soloed it.
Oh shit!
And you know why? Probably because I didn't build I didn't build that much rep by doing side quests earlier in the game.
Yeah.
And
well, not many of the side quest people will help you, but Pan Am is like, she's a trooper. She'll go to the mat with you. Like, she'll die for you if you win that reward. So you can call her and be like, and she's like, I'm not letting you do this alone. And she'll bring all the boys with her.
No way.
And you got all that gang of yahoos coming in and fighting Militech.
I should have done that because I took everything out on my own and it took forever.
There's a number of different ways. And then, at the end, there's a few different outcomes. So you just went home to die?
Yeah, well, the 2 options were at the time. And again, these probably are different depending on how things went. But my options up in the moon station were, do you want to sign all your human and bodily rights over to us and put your engram, kind of Johnny Silverhand style, into the main Arasaka computer stuff? And then we'll hold you there until we get you a suitable body that we know is going to work or whatever. But there's no guarantees. And so that was option 1. And option 2 was just go back to Night City and live out however long I'm going to be around. I chose that because I ain't no freaking corpo take my soul basically and stick it in a computer. F that.
So it's funny because you did that and I did the same ending, but I got to do with Pan Am, and I lived out the rest of my life banging Pan Am. You were all alone, and I had a companion.
Oh, that's hilarious, dude. No, I didn't do anything.
Although I did reload a save to look at the space ending. That one's really depressing. It's cool because you're actually in space, but you're just like in a laboratory.
Yeah, I did do the laboratory bit. But that's where I made my final choice. That was interesting with the Rubik's Cube and all that stuff. I really liked it. John, you can.
Oh yeah, John.
You can Yeah.
Headphones back on now.
I liked pretty much everything about it. The only complaint I have is that it felt the main story, and Bo, you'd said this before, the main story is a little on the short side, but there's a ton of side stuff, and you can fill your time. But I was a little surprised I got there when I got there. It did kind of seem to end, not abruptly, but I was like, oh, I'm already here. And I knew that because when you go do that mission, you get the whole warning of, if you go in here, whatever else you had going, forget about it for now, because you're going to have to do this. And then later you'll go, you can go back. Now that's one thing that threw me, because there are certain people that aren't around. I won't get specifics here, but that aren't around after that story ends. But when you go back to do a bunch of side missions, they're there because they are there. So it's a little mishmashy in that regard. But I got over it. It was fine. I kind of played a little time jump with it, and it's fine. I'm enjoying it. I finished it on my Steam Deck, funny enough, is where I did the final ending. But that entire mission took me 3 play sessions because I was busy with other stuff, and I played on my PC, my console, and then that device to finish it. And that was maybe my favorite thing about my run through Cyberpunk, is I felt cyberpunky about the way I played it. If you know what I mean. Like I was just like, hey, I'm going to play it over here. Oh yeah? Well, I'm going to play it over here. Like it was just kind of like this, weird meta game I was playing. But yeah, I like it. I haven't done any of the Edge Runner stuff. I haven't finished all the side stuff. Like there's so much more to do. I think I'm level 36.
The game really is kind of like, you can rush. It's like Skyrim, where you can rush through the main quest and finish the game 10, 20 hours.
Yeah.
So you really benefit from, exploring around. There's a whole TV crucifixion quest. Mm-hmm. There's a mayoral quest.
Actually, it's funny you should mention those two specifically. I've done both of those side quests, and I think they are like, to answer the question at the beginning of the show, I think those kinds of quests, fleshed out, made bigger with less gaps in them, are kind of the direction that I think a future game should go. Those really stand out as pretty awesome side quests, especially the mayoral thing. Like, that quest was so cool, and then when it kind of ends, I'm like, how is this not the main game? Like, this is so intriguing and interesting, the way this is going, the direction this is going, that it's really, really neat. And the one Bo mentioned, the crucifixion thing, when I stumbled onto that quest, because it does not start suggesting that that's what you're doing. I went and I had to pause it. I went and I told my wife, I was like, I'm doing the weirdest goddamn thing in this video game. I gotta tell you what it is. And she was so intrigued by what I was saying that she came in and she's like, so what happened? Like, she doesn't really care about much of the other games. She's like, I need to know. You can't build it up that way and talk about these things and not tell me how it's paying off, because they're wild. There's some really cool side.
And I hope they lean more into that in the next one as well, because I think some of that stuff's some of the best part of the game. Overall, I am very glad I came back and played, and I'm really glad they put it in shape to play it the way I did. And I'm more excited about the future of that franchise than I was probably ever before. If I had one problem, it would be, I think I would have preferred a third-person game, Witcher-style third-person. That's how I like my open-world games. Mad Max, which I almost 100%ed. The GTA games are all like this. I like having a dude I can see, or a lady, where I can dress him up and have my doll in front of me,
Yeah.
I do wish I had that, because the only time I really saw V is when I looked in a mirror and I'm like, oh yeah, she looks kind of cool right now. Or I made an outfit that I liked, and the transmog is awesome. But in like Skyrim, when you get new gear, it's like, when am I going to look at that in the horrible third person mode in Skyrim? Like, no one wants to use that. So I kind of wish they would have done that from the get-go, and I agree with John that they probably won't change that. They're not going to suddenly make this a third-person series, but I just think it would benefit from some of that, like, eye candy characterization stuff, especially in a world like Cyberpunk. But anyway, I really enjoyed it, had a blast, and would recommend that game just about anybody, unless you're sensitive to, walking into a store and there's giant dildos everywhere. If you don't like that,
Yeah,
I was streaming it yesterday, and there's just a full-on billboard with most of the time they have creative text placement.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a billboard with a naked lady on it.
Yeah.
And when you're streaming it, you suddenly become very aware of it. And I mean, it's a game you're allowed to stream on Twitch, but you don't necessarily want to throw someone into the deep end if they're just casually coming by your stream. And so I was doing that like parent thing where you're like trying not to look at it. You're like, oh, just turn your head and your camera down. Don't look at the billboard.
Yeah, don't look at that billboard. There's a few moments like that, of course. And whatever. It's the world that they inhabit. It was none of it really offends me.
There's some of those, especially streaming, it particularly memorable. I remember this because when you first meet Pan Am, she's like got the hood up in a car and she's fixing the car and she's bending over, and then it's like I was looking at her butt and I was like, oh wait. I'm streaming this. I'm definitely lingering too long here.
Yeah, you stay there too long. You're like, wait a minute, what am I doing? Video game lady. Uh-oh.
Yeah, video game. These polygons are intriguing.
I just think there's some really memorable characters. It's worth the playthrough, even if all you do is focus on the story. I'm really, really looking forward to the DLC. And before this, I was kind of nonplussed about it, but I really want that. Even though we don't know a ton about what it'll be, but I'm excited about all of that. So Cyberpunk, congratulations! After 2 years, you did it. You got me. And I really enjoyed it.
Well, I'm glad. And you finished the game, so
I did.
I put one up on the board. And I finished it before John finished it.
But now you got me so curious about some of the stuff we talked about that I won't say again because John's back. But some of those things now I'm like, should I go back and old save and just kind of look at some of that?
There's definitely some stuff you can just choose differently, but some stuff you'd have to like you said, develop relationships, meet the criteria to earn them.
Yeah, I did feel a little bad because I got to a choice where I was blocked out of picking the option I would have done based on my stats. This was the end of the Delamain quest line.
Yeah.
Which ironically I thought about it and I was like, man, the way the Delamain quest line ends is literally the ending to Mass Effect 3.
Oh,
and
weird.
I think that has to have been done intentionally, right?
Yeah. I mean, maybe they had a really good reference to Portal and Portal 2 in the middle of that game.
Yeah, they threw Portal in there. Like maybe it was a direct nod to Mass Effect, but like it was and I kind of ironically like Mass Effect 3, there was a requirement to get one of the endings, and I did not meet it because I'm not a net runner build, so I couldn't do the hacking bit. So I had to make a choice, and I don't feel good about my choice. I wouldn't have felt good about either choice. And so congratulations. I don't feel good about it. That's where I wound up.
Yeah.
There's some really cool stuff in there, and I guess I'm talking about my experience now with it too.
Me as well. Yeah.
2077, but
yeah, why not?
It's a hell of a game. Like it does really well with the I talked a little bit about this last week with the ramp up where you go from feeling like I'm just bad at everything in this video game. Like you pull out your gun, you're shooting at people, you can't hit anybody. You try to sneak, you can't sneak for shit. You try to hack something, you're like, I turned off the camera, I'm an elite hacker, man.
Mm-hmm.
And like I do agree with what Bo said, where the ramp up is sudden and it's like a pretty big jump. It's not the slow build that you would kind of hope it would be. But there is a really cool feeling of going from I can't sneak to save my life, I'm always going to get caught, and when I do it's just going to be annoying, to all of a sudden I am a killing machine. And I'm double jumping onto rooftops and I'm sniping people from a distance and I'm landing, and like that stuff is just awesome, and it's so good to see. Kind of that sudden shift where you go from really bad to really good, and I've hit that, and it has made the game really fun to all of a sudden get to where it's just like, oh, I'm awesome. I'm really good at this game.
It's really good that way.
I'm having a hell of a time with it. I'm focusing pretty heavily on side stuff because I have a lot of lofty goals for skills, and I'm like, I gotta level up as much as possible. I really decided to be a good at all things kind of character, and it's not working out for me. But I'm having a great time with it. Like, I think that game benefits heavily from expectations being known going in.
Yeah.
I think that and I said this on my stream yesterday, but you want to talk about one of the most disappointing moments in video games for me is the first time not in story that you go to a Ripper Doc in Cyberpunk 2077. Because you have that first time where you go see the guy and he gives you a new hand upgrade and he gives you a new eye and you get these cool cinematics of them welding it to your hand and putting the eyeball in and seeing your body as the eyes gets brought over to it. And it's really neat. And then you go the second time and you're like, oh man, they're going to do some wild stuff to me this time. I can't wait to see what this is going to be. It's like, oh, we're going to replace parts of your skin. And you're like, oh, this is going to be brutal. This is going to be awesome. And you select it and you just hit a button on a menu and it just goes bloop.
Yeah.
And that's it. And you're like,
that was a bummer.
Shit is this?
Yeah.
Like, feels so bad. What a disappointment this is. And that's something that, like, now revisiting the game, I know it's like that. I've experienced my disappointment in the past. I'm not going to be disappointed about it again. I can get over it. I know what my expectations are.
Sure.
You know,
and if they did that soul song and dance every time you ever got an upgrade, though, that might annoy you as well, unless you can skip it, I suppose. But
I mean, maybe. Yeah, I think the solution is to skip it. But I also think you got to ask yourself, what kind of game are you making? Are you trying to make yourself immersive in the world? And the whole reason they said they wanted to do first person was because it made the world feel alive. You felt small in it because the scale is down. Everything seems big and looming. And that tells me you're trying to create the world and the experience, and picking a thing off a menu and just seeing it appear in your inventory is not immersive. Not even remotely. I mean, it doesn't have to be full blown like it was before. Like, I mean, how long is the scene in Edge Runners where you see him getting an upgrade? That's seconds.
Yeah.
And it's more fulfilling than
they could have done it
literally anything else.
Imagine it just literally being like, choose the thing and then cut the camera to a close up of your hand being inserted into some sort of device and just going, and you going, and then pull out again. And like, they could have done some of that trimming on there. I agree. Because instead, it's just like an inventory. It's the second inventory page. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And that you can only open when you're at a Ripper, but it's not immersive at all. It's just like a menu.
Yeah, and I think it goes to that story of, you know, kind of losing your humanity for improvement. And I think it sells the story better if you see what the cost of that is.
Yeah. And the anime really leaned into that. So I'm not saying they have to mimic the anime in every way, but that stuff was visceral and cool. And you were like, yeah, this is what this would be like, right?
Yeah, and there are rumors that the next patch is going to feature some cosmetic changes to your body more than what's already there for these sorts of things. I think that would be really cool because that is a jarring moment in the anime when you realize somebody has gotten more upgrades and they look significantly different.
Yeah.
And I think that is I think that's a cool touch. I think that kind of needs to be reflected in the game better for a sequel. But all of that aside, that is just to say that, like, going in now, I have a better expectation of what the game is. It's not a case of the sky's the limit. This could be anything, which is kind of how it was billed as going in. You know, like it felt like this world, you could do anything in it. And now with expectations set where they needed to be, and again, more importantly, knowing that this game isn't going to kill my computer. Although the parade scene was like all of a sudden they hired an assassin to come for my machine out of nowhere. I was doing fine. Game was running at a great clip. Everything was good. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, they start the parade and it was on stream. And like all of a sudden my frame rate went down to nothing. I was like, oh no, they came for me.
Frame rate gets crazy on that level. I mean, you were talking about the bug with all the dudes and stuff, which I didn't experience, but even without that, the parade scene got weird. I didn't stream it, but it got weird. I guess that was on my account, or no, it was on the Steam Deck, and the Steam Deck's handled this game really well. It's been surprising, but that one sequence, it was like, okay, we're down to like 24 frames there.
In that sequence, I think.
Yeah, they didn't hold back. I just switched it though. Like the nice thing was, I just had one setting. I just switched the DLSS to ultra performance for the parade, and that one tweak was enough to have the game run smoothly through that segment. I didn't have to
Gotcha.
go through and like really think about it. It wasn't that bad, but it is a shame that it's like that, because that scene or that part of the game is very visually stunning, and I feel like I would have taken more time to take it in if I didn't feel like, again, oh, is my computer about to burst into flames because you decided to put 100 NPCs on the screen at a time?
Well, plus
like,
it just added to like the feeling of like the game, that sequence is meant to be intense, and you're supposed to be, you know, making progress down the ladders and through the stuff, and then you find another room and you take out guards, and it's supposed to be, and the music's really intense, so you're supposed to feel that way. Part of the tension shouldn't be, oh shit, what's wrong with my frame rate?
yeah,
You know?
it was a lot.
Yeah, I get that.
But it's cool. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm having a hell of a time with it. I don't know when I'll finish it because I'm focusing mostly on side stuff, but it's so good.
Well, I'm just doing the opposite. Ran through the main story, and now I'm all about side stuff that probably would have benefited me in the main game had I done some of that stuff, because my alliances weren't all that great when I started the final mission, but I still really liked it. And I'm going to keep at it. Also, there's really good money in just doing these side missions. If you're running low on cash, you want to buy better equipment, guns, implants, whatever, just go do some side missions. You make big money. The gigs and stuff, they're great. Anyway, all right, next up, I played Baba Is You, a game that came out a few years ago, and I ignored it because I went, oh, whatever. Everyone's talking about this game. I bet it's as cool as they say, but I don't know. I don't know if I can. I don't want to play.
It's in the weird. Like, I know everyone says it's good, but it's also weird. Maybe I'll play something else.
Yes, it is in that category, and I felt that way for a long time.
I played this. This game's awesome.
It is awesome. I finally downloaded it because, again, I keep discovering games in my library that say, oh, fully deck verified, probably a good deck game. Let me try it. Sure enough, perfect for the deck, perfect for whatever you're playing it on, but I played it there. What a little weird bastard this game is. It's like, I've never had a game make me feel like a complete idiot 1 second and the next second like a genius.
Yep. It's an amazing puzzle game.
And they give you, and it's not just simply, oh, the puzzles get harder. Sometimes they don't. You just think they are. Like, you get into a puzzle and go, oh, this looks so complicated compared to those first ones. How is this? Why are we doing this? And then you realize, oh, no, if I just move this word that says, you know, rock is move or whatever the words are. If I just switch that over here with this other thing, I'm done. I hit the flag and I'm out. But I spent an hour trying to overthink it. It's like, oh, no, this is complicated. Okay, I got to go up here. And there probably are multiple ways to do it. But there was this really quick, easy way that was staring me right in the face the whole time. I love a game when that can be done in a way that doesn't irritate me. And this doesn't. It makes me like stoked. And I'll be like, damn it, I got to walk away. I'll leave it for a while. Let, half an hour pass. Come back. All right. Oh, shit. Now I see. Beep, and I'm in.
Yeah.
Baba Is You is great. People shouldn't sleep on it. It's a fantastic little game.
It's super fun. The premise just basically being, you run around as a character and you switch up properties within the stage to solve puzzles. So it might just be a case of run and touch the flag, but then it gets into weird things where you can change the text to where, like, okay, well, there's no way to get to the flag. You're completely locked out from it, but you have the ability to change essentially the programming. Is that a fair way to describe it?
I think that's a great way to describe it. Yeah,
this seems like definition statements. So A is B, A is C, and then the game world will update accordingly.
100%. That's what it is.
So you just change it to where it's like wall is flag, and then you touch the wall, and that counts as getting to the end because you redefine the game as the wall is the flag.
Yes.
Like, it's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's I kept dying because I was changing Baba is rock or whatever, and I would just sit there like, but as a really forgiving, like, I'm playing on controller obviously, so as a really forgiving undo thing, which I'm glad it has. It actually needs it for what kind of game it is. If this was a thing where I had to start all over every time, and you can if you want, but you don't need to. If you die, you're like, oh, okay, that wasn't it. You just hit X a few times on your controller, and it'll back steps with each press, basically single step undos. And I find that to be perfectly suited for this. That's a rad game. Don't seriously, people. It's like cheap too. Like, Baba Is You is great. Get it. That game's great.
No,
anyway, been playing that. Here's a couple of tiny mentions. I don't want to go into too much detail because I didn't play that much of them. But I didn't realize that Atari had put out a bunch of these recharged versions of old classic games. Asteroids Recharged, Centipede Recharged. I forgot the other ones. Anyway, there's a whole list of them. And they're all from that era, kind of the old vector graphics, early 80s, mid 80s Atari games. And somebody had told me that these were really great, and they were only $10 a piece, and they were akin to like Pac-Man Championship Edition, or there's a Galaga one that's like super crazy. These Space Invaders has one. It's like these crazy reimaginings of old games that they still retain kind of their heart, but they do them in new flashy ways. And I like that kind of stuff. So I bought Asteroids Recharged, and it's very good. It is what it is, though. It's Asteroids. If you like Asteroids,
how does it compare to what you play Nova Drift last week?
Oh yeah, actually, that's kind of what drew me to it. Is it does remind me, Nova Drift definitely has Asteroids DNA in it. So, it's kind of more of that, but they have a different kind of approach. It's like there's a puzzle mode, and there's, it's all just kind of over the top effects. There are upgrades. You want to play a traditional game of Asteroids, you can do that on this without any upgrades, without any, you got 3 lives and you're done. Bonus lives are available, whatever. Or you can do it with these perks and stuff that drop out of certain asteroids when you blow them up. And the perks might be a 7-way gun that splits and just shoots a ton of asteroids at once, but it only lasts like 30 seconds. And then another one will pop out that lets you do more like a sniper thing, or one that blows stuff up and then chain react blows other things up. And they just mix it up with a bunch of new ways to play what is essentially still asteroids. You fly in out of the screen, if you fly up out of the top, you'll come up through the bottom, that sort of thing. It's good, and it makes me want the whole package. I kind of want to see what they did with everything, because this is a really good version of that. But I'm early yet, so it's mostly leaderboard type stuff and just kind of a fun throwaway, like, hey, I'm going to go play this game. And it was only $10. So there's that. And that's the normal price. That wasn't even on sale.
Looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's good. It's got a good look to it. I think they reproduced the way that game feels really well, plus added all this extra stuff. It's cool. And I think the whole package is like $40 for 7 games or something like that. Wow. Pretty good deal. I also played Slime Rancher 2 on Steam and Game Pass. I got a code on Steam that someone sent after I started on Game Pass, so I kind of went back and forth. It's more Slime Rancher. You gather slimes, you throw them in the pens, you feed them. They get bigger. They shit out stuff. You go spend cash in for money. You upgrade your shit. It's a good thing. It's a good loop, and the game's it's early access, but it's already like overwhelmingly positive reviews on the Steam page. I think it deserves that, but just know what you're getting into. It's kind of this like very simple idea. Gather a bunch of these things, raise them, feed them. You do it with a gun. It's a first-person shooter, basically. You vacuum in these creatures, shoot them back out into the pens, suck up carrots and feed them to the weird rabbit versions of these things. I'm not that far, but I played enough of one and enough of this early access that I can tell you it's more Slime Rancher. If you're looking for more of that, man, you are in for a treat, because it's what it is. All right. John, you finished Final Fantasy IX. Done.
Yep.
For the second time, 2 times.
Yeah, basically played through it 2 times because I was so damn close to the end. Finished it. Kind of closing thoughts on Final Fantasy IX. Like, I think it has one of, if not the best soundtracks. I think it has one of, if not the best cast of characters for a Final Fantasy. I think the style, the world is all very, very good. I think the first half of that game is 1,000 times stronger than the second half of that game. And honestly, I of all people should feel the opposite, because I had to play through that first half a lot of times. But I don't think it has the strongest ending. I think it kind of loses itself a bit in it. But the cinematics are amazing. It's kind of shows that it is the first time that they really started thinking about things like cinematography in their cutscenes. Like, it was there before, but it was, it was like, oh, this looked cool. Like Final Fantasy IX, their cutscenes really have a movie feel to it, and it shows. So all said and done, like it's really solid. It's really good. It was very easy to mod, so I would highly recommend it for people that are looking to try kind of that PlayStation era Final Fantasy, it was the easiest one to get a suite of mods set up and running for it, and have that be good. It's not perfect. I have a lot of gripes about the systems as kind of like somebody who's been going through a lot of these. But I had a fantastic time with it.
Nice.
So,
and off to 10 now, right? 10 is next.
I think next week I'll be starting 10 is currently the plan. It's installed. I tested it to make sure it worked. I got creeped out by the eyes of characters in 10. Like, we're in this weird stage where graphics at the time were real revolutionary, and now I'm loading it up and I'm seeing the cutscenes that seemed totally normal and mind-breakingly good back in the day, and now I'm like, what's wrong with everybody's eyes? It's a doll's eyes. Like, it's all very weird. But I'm looking forward to it. 10's another one where I know I played a decent amount when it first came out, but I do not remember much about it. Like I probably remembered more of 9 than I do of 10. So it's going to be kind of a rediscovery for me for that one. I remember it being very cringy. I expect, I think that term gets overused these days, but I heard like 3 lines in my testing to make sure the game worked, and each one made my stomach crinkle in on itself a little bit. So it's going to be an experience for sure.
Nice. Well, I'm glad to hear it. I may watch that one because that's one I have zero experience with. I just remember when I would see it, I'd think for some reason it reminded me of Super Mario Sunshine. The colors and the beachiness of it, and like just
there's a lot of beachiness, a lot of water. In fact, that's going to be the thing that's going to be the hardest for me to deal with. Is there is a whole controversy around the main character's name in that game.
Yeah,
because it is the first time that Final Fantasy became, used full voice acting, but in connecting to the past, they still wanted you to be able to name the character whatever you wanted to name him. So nobody ever calls the main character in that game by his name. And as a result, there is not consensus on how to pronounce his name. It's Tidus. And
we went hard on this for a while, didn't
some
we?
people think it's Titus, some people think it's Titus. Most canonically accurate is Titus, and I don't know if I'm looking forward to people getting mad about me calling him Titus for an entire run.
Do it. Do what you feel right in your heart, because I want to hear you call him that.
I don't prefer it. I prefer Titus, but somebody it's supposed to be Titus, and that's what I will call it.
I want it to be Titus. I'm
Titus.
I'm on Team Titus.
Of course you do. Of course you do,
yeah.
Scott. Of course you prefer Titus.
I love Titus. You stick with Titus. Screw the world and what they want. Okay, Titus is what we want. All right, so that's coming. You got a Steam Deck. We haven't even talked about that yet.
Oh shit!
Yeah, we did. We talked about me having a Steam Deck.
Well, we didn't talk about
last week. Well, you had just had it for like.
Oh
2
yeah,
minutes.
you had it for like 2 minutes or something. You barely had it. That's
what's
right.
What's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on?
You playing? What do you got there? What are you doing on your Steam Deck?
Man, but right now, sorry, I'm getting distracted because chat is going so hard on the Titus bit of discussion. This is what I'm talking about.
It's like the NVIDIA 3080 Ti.
They can't help it. They can't help it, guys. It's Titus. I see you, Light 91. Go do your research. It's Titus, and that's not based on Kingdom Hearts. So
it's 100% Titus.
I'm just gonna tell you, it's Titus.
Yeah.
You can still call him Titus. Nobody will arrest you. But the Japanese pronunciation is based on the word for sun, which is Tita.
Tita. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's why it is that way? That's the reason that...
Yes.
Okay.
People call him Titus because it's a water-themed thing.
Yeah.
And as chat points out, cloud, squall, lightning, Titus, there is a logic to follow with that.
Yeah.
But they wanted Titus and Yuna to be sun and moon. And I don't remember what dialect it is, but Tita in... some form of Japanese is sun.
Okay.
So it is Titus.
Well, that makes sense. It's kind of a sunny, like I said, Super Mario Sunshine looking piece of business at times. So it's Titus, sun. It's sun. Titus.
Get your Titus out of my face.
Yeah, get your take your Titus somewhere else. I don't want to look at your Titus anymore. All right. Sorry.
Anyway, but Steam Deck.
Yeah, Steam Deck.
Something not controversial. Steam Deck is awesome. Honestly, though, I have kind of already talked about everything I played on Steam Deck because I played Disco Elysium.
Oh, you did? So you installed? Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So how did it run? And were you able to? I mean, are you reading text okay and all that? Because that's the one thing I haven't tested.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it's all read to you now, so it's not the biggest deal in the whole wide world. Yeah. But I think that I'm having a little bit of a hard time with the control scheme because the game is so point and click style on the PC.
Mm-hmm.
And it works. It's not that it's bad. It's just that I put so many hours into point and click.
Oh, yeah.
That I'm having a hard time getting used to having nodes pop up and targeting the nodes and being like, go there, go there.
Yeah.
It's a little weird for me, but it's running great. I continue to just be really impressed by how well everything seems to run on there. I haven't really found the game that makes me, and part of it is I'm having such a hard time with loving Cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's hard for me to go, you know what, I'm gonna go lay in bed and play some Steam Deck right now, because I did try Cyberpunk on the Steam Deck, and it was not for me. It's not bad. Like Scott's talked about playing it on there. It 100% works. It runs fine.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely playing a build that's much more like aiming sniper rifles, aiming pistols, aiming knives, and I just find the control a little too loose on the Steam Deck. I just don't like exactly how it feels for some of the more like nuanced things in that game.
That's interesting you say that, because my goal the entire time with that game was to make sure I played it only on controller, because I knew I'd be jumping between a console, Series X, this device, and my PC. So even when I was playing on the PC, I was still using a controller for this very reason. I didn't want to like taste the nectar of the better experience with mouse and keyboard if I wasn't going to always be playing it that way. And so I never played it that way. So I just never knew any better, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So you're probably having a much more accurate, like, point and aim kind of experience than I was having as a result, which, maybe I would have had a better time in that regard, but yeah,
it's not bad. I'm just snooty. Like, I think that's what it comes down to. I'm like, I need a premium experience. But yeah, I mean, everything I play there is pretty solid. I think still probably the game that has played and felt the best on there for me is Dragon Quest. Looking up which number, because I always forget the number.
Oh, 11.
Dragon Quest 11. Yeah, that's wonderful on the Steam Deck.
Yeah, I agree. Really good.
In fact, I would say JRPGs in general have just been a real blast to play. If I wasn't committed to playing all these things on stream, I would probably be playing all the Final Fantasies on Steam Deck, because it just seems like a great place for that type of game.
Yeah.
But I'm still going through. I'm still looking for the game that, like I said, is going to get me to go sit in bed and play the Steam Deck instead of wanting to stay up way too late sitting at my computer playing Cyberpunk.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get you. That's the one thing I've learned about the Steam Deck, and the reason I've been trying so many things is it is fun to find, or I don't know if it's fun, it's informative to find out what things really play well, and maybe even better in that format than if you were sitting in front of a screen, and then what things definitely don't. Because there's plenty of examples like that. The other problem I have with Cyberpunk on the Steam Deck is the text is really pretty small.
Yeah.
Playing it there, whereas on my big TV or my screen in here, it's no problem at all. It's no issue, but the text doesn't scale and they don't let you enlarge in it. So I like it. Weirdly, half the reason I download everything and then put it on that list is so I can see. It's like, oh, this game runs extremely well on here. Ooh, this other one I thought would be great is not so great. Like, I immediately downloaded Deus Ex, Humankind Divided, whatever the newer one is, the Deus Ex game that we all love. Because I was now in the mood for some hackery bullshit, and I thought, well, let's see how this runs. Not optimized at all, ran like shit on there. The good news is the Series X version of that game got an update, so it runs at like a really nice frame rate now, so worth playing on there. But anyway, it's fun to experiment with Steam Deck and install shit, and then even uninstall it right away because you're like, yeah, this is no good here. I'll do something else.
I wish, is there a way, because maybe I just haven't found it in the menus, is there a way to get the Steam Deck to download while you have it powered off? Like in
no, currently there is no. Okay, so there's this list. There's this list of things that they say they're working on, and I don't know if this is on that list. I think it is, but they keep coming in with updates that absolutely fix things that people complain about, and they've done an amazing job of that. Valve's been like on it, but for some reason that one hangs around. There's no sleep mode that lets you also download or update or do other things while the screen's off. Unlike, say, your Switch does that, your phones do it. There's no reason this couldn't do it, but they just haven't patched it to do it. So
yeah.
So I'm sure that's coming. I have a feeling.
Yeah, because I definitely want that, because I assume that would be the way it worked, because that's the way it works with most modern consoles. And I remember I was like, yeah, download Cyberpunk. I put it in suspend. I like woke up. I was like, all right, I'm gonna play some Cyberpunk. Oh,
like,
nope,
oh,
it's at
0%.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna be waiting for a while is what I'm gonna be doing.
Yeah, that's how I learned it the hard way as well. Although I turned it off to C and then turned it on, and it was like, nope, you basically disconnect everything when you turn it off. But someone in the chat just confirmed it. Scipio says that it's on its way, just not super soon. So that's something to watch for.
Yeah, but it's a great device. I've got some stuff on there that, every now and then I think of a game that's perfect for it, and I get a little sad when it doesn't, because they have a built-in compatibility thing. Like, basically, you can look at any of your Steam games, and it will flag as like, hey, this works great, or hey, there might be some issues, or it doesn't work, or it's untested.
Mm-hmm.
And Wildermyth is one of the ones where it's like, it's listing it as having some issues. So I kind of want to get in and try it, because I feel like Wildermyth is a perfect game for this.
It ran wonderfully for me. The only complaint I had was text was a little small, but that's
on their list too. So I'm a little worried about it, but like, it feels like such a good fit for that.
It runs great. I can tell you that. If you can live with slightly smaller text and stuff, runs great. No other issues really. So even when they say untested or there's a question mark, that just means that Valve hasn't made it officially, whatever its status is going to be. They haven't made it official. Some games they straight up have tested and they don't work at all, and they'll tell you that. They'll go, yeah, this game just won't run. It's usually really old stuff, or I don't know. It depends on the game. The
or
ones that have
some walled garden, like you see it with a lot of like Call of Duty stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You're not going to have as good of an experience with those. Cyberpunk was nice because it does have that little launcher layer, but it's real simple. You hit A and you're past it, especially after the first time you log in. So I'm really glad you're having a good time with it, though. It makes me happy. We're deck buddies. And I got some, I have some completely legal ROMs for your retro gaming needs. Totally legal.
Yeah, I need to, because you sent me a file. I have no idea what's on it. I just, Scott's a trusted source, so I have a file from him.
Yep.
That he sent me. I'm sure it's like show-related notes, and unrelated to the statement I just made. I want to check out some of the emulation stuff that's available for the Steam Deck.
It's awesome. For everyone at home who hasn't tried it yet, emudeck.com has everything you need to be ready to put your perfectly legal ROMs on your thing. Mm-hmm. And it was so easy. It was so freaking easy. I mean, you have to do it in desktop mode, which the thing supports. It's basically like a little Linux desktop. You can use the pads to navigate around with the mouse, and there's an on-screen keyboard, although I would highly recommend plugging something in just to get past that. But it's so easy. I did it in 4 seconds and then put my ROMs on, and bam, I was playing. I've got like every Genesis game ever made because I owned them all.
Yeah, you did.
And I ripped them all.
I remember you always bragging about how you owned all the games.
You should see a stack of them right over there. And I just one by one ripped the ROMs off and then put them on legally.
Yep.
Awesome. Bo, Dyson Sphere program. I could tell last week when we brought it up again because of their military thing they were adding. I went, Bo's going to get back into that and probably get lost in it. So
I really, you've really ruined my life, Scott.
No, I'm sorry.
That recommendation, because I remember you saying like, I think you'd really like this game. It'd be up your alley, and it really is. In like a really bad way.
Yeah.
Because when I start, it's one of those games when I start playing it, I'm like, oh no, every day, all day. It's all I did all week.
Yeah.
Except for a bit of VR, which we'll talk about in a second.
Sure.
But
you were also up so late playing it.
Oh, were you up?
Yeah,
last night?
I've been having really bad sleep this past week. I got to get some good sleep in this weekend.
Because I was up late playing Cyberpunk, and I like to have something on my second screen. I was like, oh, Bo's streaming. And if I'm up late, he's up extra late.
Yeah, so this game is... so the reason why I stopped playing... Okay, just in case people don't know, because I talked about this a while. We've talked about this game a number of times, so I don't want to waste too much time rehashing it. It's Factorio, it's Satisfactory, it's a factory floor game with planets in a galaxy, and the whole end goal is you want to build a Dyson sphere around one of the stars. Anyways, I got us, so just look up some video of it, and there's some video playing now too. I got as far just on the home planet, staying in my home system. Most times I play, I drop off about the point where you start working on purple energon cubes. And you got to start working on green energon.
Are you calling these energon because your love of Transformers? Was it?
Yeah, exactly. They look like energon cubes. I mean, they're called the Center Brain by the voice actor who does the tooltips in there.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Dyson Sphere program, where you will be learning the things required to get the thing done.
Yep, it's the worst and best ever.
But I love it. Like, I wouldn't have it any other way. The bad localization is now like required.
It's so good. He's like, control your mech to be moving in places you ask to go, and it's like, oh my lord.
It's just said with such confidence that it's correct English, but it's so not. That's what I love about it. Like, yeah. Anyways, it's the way I would describe this game now. It's like, when you go to the museum or you have like a science kit. Like, yes, a combat update is coming, but it feels like, oh, here, let me give my kid a science kit, and he can build a contraption that moves a bucket from left to right or something. Yeah. Like, that's all it is. It's like it's a chemistry set. Like, but it's for factory and logistics. So in order to get, I have drones, but you have to have space warpers for you to travel at light speed. So my drones also need space warpers. I'm pretty sure the tooltips are not great.
Right. I get it. Yeah, you think the voiceover is bad translation? Try the tooltips, even worse.
So I've warped. I went shopping for other home worlds or star systems. And I think I found a star system that has everything I need, and that whole star system is going to be devoted to manufacturing space warpers, so that my drones can drone other things from other planets to feed into my main factory planet.
Yeah.
All with the effort of building a Dyson sphere. So like, I am so many layers deep into. So basically, in order, like if you think about airplanes, those airplanes can't fly anywhere with fuel. So there's a whole layer of that industry that is just the transportation of fuel. So that's basically what I'm doing, is that I have to secure really difficult to manufacture space warpers. Requires a lot of steps and a wide variety of resources.
Right.
Then use green energon to convert into space warpers. and like, that's where I'm at right now. And then there's still white energon cubes, and then I have to build the actual damn Dyson sphere. So like, I'm pretty deep into the tech trees, but like, everything is so monumentally like insane. Like the factory steps to build the green energon cube, there's like 40 steps. Like, I gotta build processors, I gotta build circuit boards, I need crystals, I have to get graphene in order to construct the particle collider, and then the particle collider's got to mesh with the titanium glass. Like, I'm building so many items to get a green energon cube, and it's fun. Like, it just ticks my management brain. Like, making the belts and having the belts go, and I've played the game. I think that's all I've done most of the week. 50 hours of Dyson Sphere program. I was worried development might take a hit because China was cracking down on gaming and all that kind of stuff, because this is a pure 100% Chinese developer.
Yeah.
But no. And I watched a few videos now on their YouTube, and I'm like, oh, these guys are deep nerd. I love it.
Oh, they're hardcore.
Like,
yeah.
They're not, they're in an office. Like, they look like the kind of guys that love engineering and computer programming. And it's just like, oh, okay. This is tickling me in all kinds of fun ways. So,
do you think the only way to play this game is to do it in this for hard game or hardcore end game in mind, or can a casual city builder, factory builder person have a decent time here?
Yeah, it's a sandbox game, so you can do whatever you want. But the goal of the game is the tech tree, and the goal of the game is to build a Dyson sphere. So. But there's no, it's sandbox. You do whatever the hell you want. They give you all the Lego pieces. You build it however you want. One interesting thing too is they now have a leaderboard in the game, but it's not a traditional leaderboard. So basically, you have a random generation seed to build your galaxy. So you can look at the leader build of all the players playing with the same seed.
Oh, interesting.
And what it is, though, it's shaped in the Milky Way, and the stars have different brightness. So you click on it, and you see a player name, and you see how many terawatts or gigajoules of energy they're producing. And that's the leaderboard, because Dyson Sphere is about building energy to save humanity. We have infinite energy. So your leaderboard is how mongo of a Dyson Sphere you have. So that it doesn't show the names, but you click on all the stars in your seed cluster and your randomized seed cluster, and you're like, oh, okay, it's just interesting. I thought it was a really neat way to do the leaderboard.
Can you blow off this upcoming? Well, I guess we don't know yet because it's not in there. That was just announced. But the attack stuff, like the defend and attack stuff, is that?
I wanted to wait till the combat update came out because I'm like, oh, sweet, combat update will bring me back and we'll add. But it's not out yet. But I'm like, I have to play this game now. Like I just couldn't help. I'm like, well, I just wanted to try it out for an hour or two. Next thing you know, I'm building an interplanetary logistics system. Like I have a second job now. I'm just like, oh, how do I get the titanium glass made? I need a source of copper. And then, anyways, it's just the best. This game really hits for me. I can't say it's going to work for everyone, but that's game.
I freaking love it. Good. I really like it too. You're making me want to play it again.
I should play Satisfactory and the other game, Factorio, as well. It's just Dyson. Dyson Sphere's like my first love, I guess. You know what I mean? So I'm just like I always default to that. But
I really like Factorio, but I find it to be there's some quality of life stuff in Dyson Sphere that I wish Factorio did. And there are things.
There's a lot of quality of life too, because there's been updates since we last talked about it too.
Yeah.
Like this is an exciting update, Scott. You'll appreciate this because you played it. I believe it's new. Maybe it's not new and I missed it, but you can now spray all of your product. So you can take oil sources, manufacture them into spray, and then just spray the product down, and it slides faster down.
Oh no, I didn't know that. That's new.
And you can either have it produce, if everything's sprayed, you can produce more of it. Like there's the chance it'll proc 2 of a creation instead of 1, or it'll just proc faster in the factory machine. But yeah, so now not only are you putting belts for the production chain, but now I have to put belts for the spray chains as well to spray the product. And you want to spray the product as much as possible at all lengths in the chain. So the belt maze is becoming even more complicated.
Oh wow. Great. That's great though. I didn't know they could do that. That's news. I think that is
new. I think that's new. Like there's lots of new stuff in there, but it's all very subtle. Quality of life, right?
Still looks so cool too. That's the other thing. I love the look of it.
It's very I visited a black hole. It was as cool. It makes cool sounds. You don't get sucked in. You're safe. You can fly right up to it, and it produces energy like the sun.
Oh,
which I'm not sure how accurate that is, but otherwise it looks amazing. And
I like to think in Chinese schools they teach kids that black holes are like the sun or something.
Yeah,
I know they're collapsed stars, but
I think it's just a video game conceit. Just they're not, doing anything weird with it. But space games are cool. I kind of want to play Stellaris again, and this game it's a sandbox. It's fun making manufacturing lines.
It's fun getting in these moods that we get into. Yeah. I love it.
Hopefully I'll be released from my servitude soon.
Tell me about Dead Effect 2, which I almost pulled the trigger on because I was like, Bo shouldn't be the only VR guy here. I should play more VR. And I didn't do it, but I've been hearing so many cool things about is it Dead Effect 2?
You've played Dead Effect 2, right?
Have I?
I'm pretty sure we played it on the NVIDIA stream.
Back in your NVIDIA Shield games, you remember Minikin?
Right.
Is that what his name was? Minikin?
Yes. Minikin. He's like this, because he was a scientist, but his brain's dumb. So he's like, all he's got are some prison slacks on, and he's barrel chested, and,
he holds his gun,
and he holds his handgun like a gangster, like this. Minikin's sad.
Minikin's very sad.
And I remember watching your streams, and Minikin was a thing. It's that game.
This is some 2014 business, everybody. That was a while ago.
It's a cheap ass game that they were like, "Yo, we could just easily make this a VR game," and the voice acting is horrendous.
Yeah,
the levels are shite. The monster enemy designs are uninspired. But you know what? It's it's a fun VR game. It doesn't do anything fancy, but you can point the gun, you can reload the gun, and shoot it. I don't recommend this over high quality experiences like Half-Life, et cetera, et cetera.
So this is no Half-Life, Alex.
It was $6.
Yeah,
and I love a good. What I liked about this is eventually there are hordes of monsters to kill, which I like. So it's okay.
Yeah,
it's just okay. But as far as a VR port, like I wish more games would do this. Like, oh, we have a 3D game. It's a first-person shooter. Okay, here let's add in some controls, like more like Skyrim VR, more like this other thing, please. Like, do this for serve VR this way. Like, it's not even that great, but I just still appreciate that I can use my hand controllers to go through the world. It's actually kind of crappy. I don't want to give it too many compliments. It's not the best port in the world.
Well, it wasn't a
lot of the positive reviews are from 2017.
Yeah.
So by 2017 standards, this is an incredible VR experience. In 2022, we have some better options.
I think the game I'm thinking of was not this. I think I was thinking of Boneworks 2. That's a new thing.
I don't know, man. We played so many generic ass video games. Like,
oh yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
But the VR game,
I remember Minikin.
Yeah, I remember Minikin too. In fact, when you were talking about this, I was trying to remember the name of the person. I'm so glad you got to see who it was. Yeah, Minikin.
I couldn't remember either. So
yeah, I'm sure somebody could go through your clips or your past, like your Twitch VOD history, and find it.
Yeah,
find your NVIDIA stream from 2016.
Yeah. I'm sure it's in there. 2014, I think it was earlier.
But then I definitely remember it was part of you were playing NVIDIA Shield games, and this was one of them as part of the NVIDIA.
Yeah, NVIDIA